What's up, Wolverine Nation? Is your boy TJ Ronin. You can find me at Twitter on TJ_Ronin. And this is the Michigan Wolverines call-in show. This is the Thursday night special to get you ready for this Illinois matchup, as well as, did you say smoke? Is there smoke? There might be some smoke. But we'll get into it. We'll talk some recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on. We mentioned some things I would say on Tuesday's show. And if you listen to Tuesday's show, then the news you got on Wednesday from others like Sam Webb and even EJ's dropped today on some speculation going on behind the scenes wouldn't be a surprise to you, because like we told you Tuesday, Sharon understands the mission and there's a lot of things going on. So let's get into it right now. And as you guys know, this is the call-in show. I'm dropping the call-in link in the chat right now. I will also put it in the description. I should have did already, so that's on me. But, you know, the main thing I want to get into is, you know, I talked about on Tuesday's show that on the recruiting segment that one, Sharon Moore understands the mission. This is what I was kind of told about. Secondly, I told you guys I was very optimistic about some of the things I was hearing up behind the scenes, such as, you know, the way money's being raised, the direction of the administration, and what Michigan is doing in terms of donors and NIL. I told you, I mentioned it twice that, you know, it's something I really wanted to get into. We didn't talk about it as much as I wanted to, but we did touch on it. And then the other thing that I touched on that we are starting to see some rumblings about, and we'll get into Sam's post about it as well as EJ's follow-up today. Michigan is pushing and being aggressive with Bryce Underwood right now. And I told you guys, I cannot guarantee you a commitment. I don't know what it means in terms of the result or the conclusion. I don't know. That's not to be known. But what I can tell you is they are pushing. You know, they are doing their best to do what they can to make that result become a reality. And then I did not know what Sam Webb was going to be posting the next day in terms of fireworks and all of those items. So, like, I did not see that coming. Now, one thing I will say that we did bring to you guys on Tuesday that was confirmed by Sam Webb was, I told you guys Tuesday that Babaloa may commit Tuesday night. It could have been the night of the show or at any point up until next week, Friday. Sam Webb confirmed that the next day, saying he thought it was going to go down last night. I didn't know that Sam was bringing that to the table. That was something I heard on my end. And, you know, I always like to see when things get confirmed like that, it means there's some accuracy from what I'm getting. So that's good to hear. So that's where we are. That's where we are, guys. Michigan is in a position where there seems to be not just football either. Not just football. There's a lot of things going on with basketball too, with Trey McKinney and Winters. In terms of that, Dusty May, you know, we talked about. I brought this up a couple times the past few weeks about Dusty May is doing what he needs to do in terms of his structure for NIL, in terms of making sure he raised the funds, did those nation tours, and he even said publicly, we're going to raise the funds, and then once we raise the funds, we're going to start recruiting. And some of the players that we're looking at right now are Trey McKinney, who's going to be committing, I believe I want to say November 6th or 9th. I should know that. I had it for you guys, but I'll share the screen here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So this is Trey McKinney. Trey McKinney is the number 20 overall player in the nation. He's a combo guard from Flint, Michigan, number one player in the nation. This is one of the players Dusty May is going after. The other player that Dusty May is going to be going after, and I'll have that for you here. And by the way, I told you guys on Tuesday's show how I felt about the Trey McKinney recruitment. I told you from my position and what I've heard, Michigan feels good about it so far. And then now we're going to pull winners. Let's see. And this is the other guy who just received a crystal or a future cast by, I believe it was Josh Hinsky of Rivals. So this is the other top player, number 60. I'm sorry, let's see, 83 in the nation. These are the things that are going on the basketball trail. Dusty May's doing his thing. And then obviously you guys I know are very intrigued with what is occurring on the basketball or on the football trail. And like I told you, yes, the Babalola smoke is real. Obviously, we know it's trending very well. There has been some cautious optimism by some insiders about he has not closed doors on other programs. So that's interesting. We'll see what translates there. But from my understanding, what I know is Sharon Moore and Grant Newsome did a hell of a job when they visited him on the bye week Thursday night for his game. They did a hell of a job closing. And it looks very good for Michigan. So we'll have to see, though. Obviously, you guys know this is recruiting. It takes a phone call. One phone call, things can change. It's that easy. And that goes both ways. That goes for Bryce Underwood. That goes for Babalola and all of that. But guess what? That isn't all that's going to be happening. There's a lot more. I don't want to say a lot more, but there's more dominoes that are anticipating falling. I think, and one was today. We had the 2026 wide receiver, Plies. I don't even know his name yet. He committed today for Michigan. I did not cover it. Jalen Pyle. I did not cover that because we were doing the call-in show and I didn't want to be redundant with it. But this is Jalen Pyle. He's a 2026 wide receiver. I guess I'll get into it very quickly with you guys. He committed today. He's part of the 2026 class. Michigan is extremely high on him. Personally, in my opinion, a little slow for my liking. He runs an 11,900 meter, which is not to my liking, but at the same time, he's young. They believe he's a good route runner. They think he has excellent hands. He's a physical receiver for his build. Apparently he's putting on good size. So we'll see. I mean, this is, I was talking to, as you guys know, our resident Michigan diehard Moose. We were talking about this recruitment and, personally, we feel we could have probably waited on this, but they liked him enough to pull the trigger. So very interesting to see, them move in this direction so early in the 2026 class, especially when we're looking at the reality. And this is another thing I wanted to talk about. So before we get to your call, I got Nick and I got Al on the line. We'll get to you guys here in just one moment. The other thing I wanted to hit on that I kind of talked about earlier in the show was, the title of the show. Michigan has learned how to NIL. So here's some reality. Michigan's donors are motivated. We talked about this. One of the positives, we talked about this on the show. We talked about this on post-game shows. One of the positives when you see things on the field, when you see what is transpiring on the field in terms of the quarterback play, in terms of potentially a lack of skill at certain positions like wide receiver and right tackle, you then, what do? You self-reflect, you correct yourself, you make the necessary adjustments. Well, it appears that not only is the administration, not only is the collectives, not only are the donors aware of what is occurring, but they are doing what they need to do to raise the funds, and they have already exceeded. So the goal for December was 15 million. They've exceeded 15 million, guys. I got a number last night that I'm going to wait till I get another confirmation on before I share it publicly because I don't want to throw anything out there, but it's north of 15 million. So, we'll see. I'm going to wait till I get another confirmation on that. But at the same time, that's great news. And apparently Portnoy is donating to Michigan, and he's not the only one. So That has also been confirmed. So shout out to Michigan for taking steps in the right direction. Let's see what happens. I'm also in a position of a lot of you guys. I do not know every single thing that's going to be dropping by any means. I do think the wide receiver from Indiana. So I'll get to you here, Nick, after I bring this up. I think McCauley is his name from Indiana. I do think we're probably going to land him. Just kind of what I'm hearing through the grapevines in terms of the interest from both parties. He's a player that Michigan tried getting last year, but did not have the financial capacity to get him to come from Indiana. And also Indiana was, and this is him right here. He's in the transfer portal. Indiana was able to counter any attempts at the time, and he returned back to Indiana. He's already back in the portal. So, it's funny to see what, it's funny to see him back in the portal. That's the way the college football era is. So that's kind of where we are, guys. Obviously, this is the call-in show. It is open topic. The call-in link is in the chat. I will put it here in the description once we bring up our first caller. But here's the positive before, to close out the intro here. Michigan is aggressively doing what they need to do off the field to become a contender. They understand that there is work to be had, and they're doing it. So words are words. Let's see action. Let's see what the boys can do in the next couple of weeks here. There seems to be a lot of buzz and positivity. I have gotten some word that, we talked obviously about Babeloa. I received a very good text last night, which I posted on social media about, I hinted at it. Confirming what is kind of going on with the buzz. You guys know what that is. Let's get to it. Let's talk about it. I'm going to bring my first caller here. Nick, what is up, my friend?
Not much, man. How's it going?
It's going good, dude. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. So yeah, this Bryce Underwood thing, I saw some people freaking out on Twitter about it. Some people were saying Dave Portnoy was in contact with him and all this other stuff. What is
Hey, your mic's quiet, Nick.
Oh, can you hear me?
Hey, chat, let me know if that's a me thing or is that a Nick thing. Is Nick's mic quiet or is that just me? Because my volume's up.
Can you hear me now?
Try. Let me turn your volume up.
Okay, is this?
All right, try now. Oh, no, it's you, Nick.
How's that?
It's a little better. I turned you up a little bit.
Okay. Well, yeah. So what is it? So what is? I'm kind of confused. Like, what is fact versus fiction with the Bryce Underwood stuff? I mean, I heard a little bit about it. I haven't been tracking too closely. People are freaking out on Twitter, and then you talked about Sam Webb was referencing that. Is it just like a situation right now where like Michigan's really pushing, or is Sam Webb talking about like Michigan has a real chance of flipping?
Okay, so what I can confirm is that this is me, this is not me, this is not Sam Webb. I can confirm that Michigan is pushing for Bryce Underwood and they're being aggressive. I can confirm that Michigan's NIL is playing ball. I can confirm that. Now, what I cannot confirm is if it's more than LSU. I don't know the number of LSU's. I don't know that. I know the rumors. I do know some things in terms of the house and his girlfriend, and I know getting her into all that stuff. I know about that, but I don't know about the exact figure. I don't have that number. I've heard speculation, but I don't know. And then in terms of Sam Webb, here's what Sam Webb, for those who don't know, he made a post yesterday saying that there's going to be fireworks. And then he made a post that, and I think it was within the same post. He made two posts back to back that were along the same lines. And then the other post was essentially that what is likely to occur is going to make up for all of the recruiting losses essentially over the last 15 years. On top of that, he mentioned about, So because here's some reality.
Be more than Bryce Underwood, wouldn't it? Or correct me,
So Michigan is looking to close the 2025 class extremely strong. In 2026, and I've hinted at this all summer because this has been the plan with revenue sharing and all of that, they're looking to get their target's top 5, but they're looking like no doubt top 10 is what they're. Although the commitment today will make you question, how that goes. It makes me question, like, why are you taking him so early? But anyways, so that's the plan. That's the strategy, right? That's what they're aiming for. We'll see if it comes to fruition, though. I know that the thing that I can confirm is this: donors are donating, they're donating to the collective. I can confirm that Michigan is aggressively pursuing top targets right now. One being Bryce Underwood, one being Andrew Babaloa. Like, guys, I cannot stress this enough. I've told you guys this since August. This is not an academic battle. You're not pulling Babaloa away from Auburn if you're not coming to the table here. They're coming to the table. The donors are really stepping up. Not only that, and I've also kept you guys up to date here with the revenue sharing. The rumored revenue sharing is up to 70% of the revenues is going to go to football. We're talking like $16-17 million.
Oh, really? When did that news come out?
So it's not confirmed. It's just being talked about behind the scenes. So initially, I told you guys in like May or June, what I was hearing was a 50-50 split between men and women's sports. And then I believe it was either maybe the earlier mid-September, I told you that what I've heard is that's changed. Michigan's approach has changed in terms of the way they want to distribute. Nothing's official yet. I don't even know what the deadline is, but at some point, programs are going to have to release how much is going to what, because it's going to be public. So we'll find out. But what I've heard is like they're thinking like 70 to 80% of the football team, and that's serious. And I think that makes a lot of sense. So that's an additional $15 to $17 million in revenue share on top of the collectives. So we're talking serious money here, man.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I do have to give you a lot of credit because you've been saying for the longest time, with recruiting, when we've been falling behind and we've had some significant losses in recruiting and issues with NIL, you've been pounding the table almost longer than anybody, saying, like, guys, if this translates to like losses on the field or things get ugly on the field, then there's going to be a new motivation that comes with that, because there's really no other way, right? Coming off of a national title, now that we've actually done it, like against the best of the best, the people aren't going to settle for. I mean, they're going to want to be in that hunt. You know what I mean? That playoff hunt every year.
Yeah.
So, do you think like what's transpired on the field this year has had some of the major players like, oh shit, like we gotta step it up?
100%. And you saw one publicly in Dave Portnoy. You saw one publicly say, "Hey, this quarterback play is unacceptable. I will literally pony up $3 million a year to make sure this does not happen again." He's not the only one. And I'm not talking about just for the quarterback position. I'm talking about just for the collective. Donors are motivated right now. Michigan is doing a very good job. Sean McGee and Jared Wagner are doing very good jobs of kind of running things right now. And I have to give hats off. And we've been on top of this since May. The state of the administration with the NIL and the current structure and strategy they have and where it is and where it stands. And right now, there is no doubt a motivation to make sure that Michigan is better. And they're on it, because I think I'm going to be honest too. And yes, Nick, I agree. Like on the field, they're seeing the result, and it is not acceptable. It's
ridiculous.
I think a lot of
our quarter. I just want a quick settle on this for like 30 seconds. Like I cannot stress enough how shocked I have been by our quarterback situation. Right. Like this kind of crap that was allowed to happen. And I maybe you can put some of the blame on Sharon, but like, I don't think there's a whole lot he could have done unless he was willing to straight up just tamper. But like, to have these guys as options, it should just never happen. It should never happen. None of the guys we have on our roster, you can honestly say, are legitimate Michigan caliber starter quarterbacks.
No. Well, Jaden Davis possibly, but he's a freshman. And but no, I mean,
the three guys.
Yeah, and you're like, well, unless you tamper, well, it's not illegal to contact an agent.
Yeah, I just don't know if Sharon's doing that or not. Like,
well, I can confirm. Well, I'll tell you right now, agents are already talking. They're already talking to agents about this December portal. I know that. That's
Okay, good.
confirmed. So that is all, and that is confirmed. Their agents. See, here's how this works, guys. Just like because this is a new era. This is how this works. The agents representing these players on all these different teams, they know the portal's coming. And you know how, listen, you know the game, like you know how business works. They look at it as a pay opportunity. So right now, they're reaching out to schools who have needs at the positions of the players they represent. And they're saying, hey, so and so is potentially interested in hopping into the portal and looking for a new home. What is your thoughts? What would it take to get us there? And these conversations are happening right now before April or before the December portal even opens. These things are going on right now. These agents and these schools, these general managers and these collectives are already talking. That's going on right now. And it is not illegal. It is 100% legal to do this because you are not contacting the player.
Yeah, and I don't think the NCAA could make it illegal even if they wanted to. I think that's out of their jurisdiction with agents and stuff. But like now with Bryce Underwood, he comes in, man. Okay, so like there's like obviously there's high expectations. But if Sam Webb is making references like that and the way that he and other people have talked about him, is he a day one starter? Like, is he in that competition? Is he
Underwood?
that? Yeah.
I think it's potential. Now I don't know this. Now I am assuming. I think they're telling him you'll start your freshman year.
That would line up with what I'm hearing. And then
I don't know that. I'm completely speculating, but it would make sense. And because he is that type of player, I think they're go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and he's one of those players, that type of talent, where like, regardless of how Jaden Davis feels or Carter Smith or any of these other, or would be threatened. But I mean, maybe Carter Smith, maybe some of these guys wouldn't like it. Maybe they wouldn't care. But like, you take him no matter what, right? Like, regardless of how those guys feel.
No, hell yeah, no. Bryce Underwood, Brady Hart too. Like those are the types of players. It doesn't matter. I mean, listen. All right, so just like here's my take on our quarterback situation. Jaden Davis has a lot of potential, and he could very well be a very good starter, but he's not a year one guy. And year two, which will be next year, he may not be ready to start either. Bryce Underwood is the type of player that you could start his freshman year. Now, it would probably be ideal to let him sit behind somebody his freshman year and get a portal quarterback. That said, Bryce Underwood is the type of player who he's arguably, I know this term's used a lot, generational-esque, extremely talented, extremely good, already playing above his age, would have been the number one player in the nation in last year's class. That's how good he is. And then Brady Hart is the type of player. Okay, and then speaking on Carter Smith, in my opinion, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not high on Carter Smith. And I think he's a fantastic athlete, but his throwing motion and mechanics is his accuracy, his feet is concerning.
You think it's bad now? You should have seen it like a year ago.
I know, and it has improved. I know, you're right. It was way worse last year. So, like to me,
he still got a long ways to go, though. You're right.
To me, Carter Smith is a gamble. I want what, and I'm gonna, we got some Buckeyes. That's probably Garrison right now with the Scarlet and Blue show. And shout out to New Life for becoming a member of the Connor Stallions espionage team. We appreciate you. He also served in our Naval Academy. We appreciate you, man.
They need to hire Connor Stallions back, man.
Yeah, I know. We'll get into that another time.
Yeah.
Especially because we don't have a signs guy anymore, son of a bitch. But
I know.
Yeah, it's Garrison. What's up, my guy? But like, so Garrison's going to appreciate this, like Ohio State does after those guys, like Georgia does, like Alabama. You want to load up that quarterback room, okay? You got to load it up, and guess what? Sometimes you're going to have a Joe Burrow, or what Georgia had with Justin Fields. These guys might transfer, guys, but the key is you don't do what Kirby Smart did, and you have Jake Fromm start over Justin Fields. You know what I mean? You make sure you're able to identify who is the guy who is the best out of the room. Because here's the truth. If you do have a Dave Portnoy, who gives a shit? You're going to get a portal quarterback whenever you want. You're going to get you'll figure it out.
Well, and that's the thing. People are harping on Kirk Campbell, but look at what Kirk Campbell has to work with quarterbacks. I actually like the pairing of Bryce Underwood with Kirk. I mean, you like the pairing of Bryce Underwood with anybody.
Right.
with a dude like Kurt Campbell, who's clearly people are kind of ragging on him. I'm higher on him than most. I think he just doesn't have the personnel to do what he wants to do. He wants to throw the ball more. He's more of a passing guy. But like if you give him the right players, and if you get Bryce Underwood, man, their attention has got to shift pretty quick. If we're gonna get throw out money like that and step up NIL to get those highly rated quarterbacks, we got to start getting some receivers too. And I know some will come, but like we need to be getting like top 10 wide receivers, like 5 stars, like Jerome Miles, some of those guys.
Yeah, you got to get some dudes. So yeah, no question, Nick. I 100% agree. And I do think if you land a Bryce Underwood or even next year's 2026 class with Brady Hart, I think they come. Now we have one already in the fold, and that's Andrew Marsh. And I can let you know, I can confirm this. He's good right now. Like we're good. It's okay. Like we don't got to worry about Andrew Marsh. He's very happy. We're good. We're good. So
still think
obviously
Ron Bell needs to go, but that's just my opinion.
Well, I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I 100% agree. And hopefully, unless the season goes extremely amazing and Jack Tuttle really is the answer, hopefully they find a new wide receivers coach. But John Diadamo, my co-host, my teammate, my friend, EJ Holland still seems very skeptical. You know what I'd say about that? His post yesterday was a lot more different than his post today, because his post today, in my opinion, was a qualifier. He simply said, well, I'm not going to say they're not talking to Bryce Underwood. I'm not going to say it couldn't happen, but no, listen, here's the reality. Here's the reality. And he's just, listen, he's got a rival. He's got his battles with Sam Webb. I'm also not guaranteeing we're going to land Bryce Underwood, but what I think is a disservice here, but what I can respect out of EJ Holland's approach is simply this. And he did say this, and I'll say it here. He says it's best if we don't talk about it. He says it's best if we do not talk about it because it only makes it harder for Michigan to land him. Now, to me, that's him confirming Michigan is working very hard to land him. Now that's EJ Holland's approach. Now, I know what I know, and I know what Sam Webb's dropping, and that all falls in line with what we're hearing. Now, look, again, like it's not guaranteed, but what we can say is they're working on it. They're working on it. We'll see. I like EJ Holland too, by the way. I do not have an issue with EJ Holland. I respect his
really like him. I really like him, but was an understatement with him, dude. He's a self-admitted pessimist. He's always going to pour until it's a done deal, essentially, unless he has like some hardcore intel, some proof. And he's just not gonna throw. He's not going to throw stuff out there and see what sticks at the wall. He's going to be pretty pessimistic. Like, he's like criticized Michigan's NIL, slayed Michigan's NIL.
So that's another thing, right? No, that's actually a great point. So that's where me and him we disagree because. I know because in the summer, he was very adamant that Michigan wasn't changing its approach, where our show was telling, letting you guys know, hey, there's a new approach here. We're paying high school players. We're paying portal players. Like this is actually happening. We weren't doing this before. EJ Holland was extremely skeptical of that. And now he'll say, and this is not a shot at EJ Holland. Like, again, I want to just qualify it. I respect EJ Holland. I think he's one of the best in the game. Him and Sam are the best in the game. But
he keeps it real. He's
no question.
Not everyone's cup of tea, but he keeps it real and he's honest. So I appreciate that.
And I'll give him this. He's probably the hardest worker in the game. But now he'll say, well, Michigan does packages. Like he always wants to like limit it. Look, Michigan's not
but
Miami.
For him, that's a big admission. Like that's a big step compared to what he was saying before. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like with him, you got to read between the lines a little bit. Like if he's seeming a little skeptical, I don't think that's much. That's just his nature. Like he's always going to be that way.
Yeah, So look, we're not Miami, we're not Oregon, but that's not what we need to be. We just need to be like a top 10 NIL because if you are top 10 and you have a culture and you're developing, you're good. You're in the playoff every year. It could, just get home field advantage. We don't even know what that means yet. Like we don't even know and we don't even know the true value. I know we can assume what it means because college football home field advantage matters. But imagine being in a 12-team playoff and you have home field advantage. Anything can happen. If it's a game in Ann Arbor or one of these northern states, and you got one of these southern teams coming, and it's freaking
in
20
December.
degrees, yeah, who knows? Like, get in the dance, dude. Like, so that's kind of where we are. Hopefully, uh, it works out. I also just want to remind everybody, this is the call-in show. We're 30 minutes into it. If we can, Keith Rebar. Yes, Keith, we're out there. If you guys want this show to go another hour, we are 100 hours away from a second hour. We do super chats, membership gifts, and super stickers. Contribute to the show, and we will definitely go another hour. We have 2 callers on the line. We will definitely get to our 2 callers. But all right, Nick, give me your last thoughts here, and I'm going to move on to our next callers.
All right, last thoughts. 2 quick last thoughts. Just talking about this NIL. Obviously we all want Sharon Moore to succeed, and he was put in a tough position, young coach. But if he can really step up and give him this type of support to get him just really high quality talent, I think he's, that'll help a lot at that point. If he can, kind of turn things around, because we all think he's a really good coach. And the one thing a lot of people aren't talking about is if he does, like, if we end up having to get rid of him, then we get rid of one of the best offensive line coaches in the country, and that would suck. So, and then lastly, as far as the game this Saturday, I think I don't really know what to expect with Tuttle. Joel Klatt talked about this, and I kind of agree. I think it's either going to go really good or really bad. I don't think it's going to be anywhere in the middle. So I think it's either going to
go really bad. I don't think it's going to go really bad. I think it's either going to go okay or good.
I'm more on the good or really bad side, just because of that environment. Like, isn't that is there homecoming there's something special, like.
Yeah, they got it's the Jersey game. It's the like the 100-year anniversary of some crazy ass victory, and they're gonna wear these ugly ass uniforms, man.
Oh,
like,
yeah, dude.
Looks like bacon's on their head. It looks terrible.
But they hate us. That place is gonna be a bit of a snake pit. So now maybe it won't be actually as loud as Washington, but they that environment, man, that's that's not gonna be easy. So if things start to go off the rails early in that game, dude, I don't know. So,
well, all right. So here's my take on the environment. So I was on Locked On Illini this week with Sonny Verma, who was also on our show, and we were talking before the show, and he's like, man, this fan base. I probably shouldn't. I actually probably shouldn't share this. Essentially,
no, that means you should.
They're a basketball school. Okay, there is a lot more. That fan base is far more focused on basketball. Football is just, for example, one thing, he did share with me is a lot of their fan base actually thinks Michigan's going to come in and win. They are not believers yet of, of their program. They still have that, I guess you could say maybe some scar tissue from their history. So I do not anticipate a ruckus environment. I think Michigan's actually, in my opinion, and just hearing what is being speculated to Crippen starting at center, Percy starting at right tackle, Jack Tuttle getting 3 weeks of practice. I think they really did a lot of self scouting, and I actually think we're going to see. I think Michigan's going to come to play. I really do. I think this is their opportunity to really change the trajectory of the season, or begin changing the trajectory of the season. They have work to do, right? But I am anticipating Michigan to look like a better team this weekend. And if I'm wrong, then, well, the post-game show is going to be a bitch. But if I'm right, then we got some things to be optimistic about.
Well, then that's bad news. If that does occur, that's bad news for the rest of the conference, because I'm not saying we're on Oregon's or Ohio State's level, but like, Michigan still has a ton of talent on this team, and the last thing you want to give this team is confidence, because if they they play well, they kick in Illinois' ass, and Jack Tuttle gets confidence, then this team, it really does change the outlook for the rest of the season. For them to, they'll probably still lose to Oregon and Ohio State, but you could see those games being more competitive. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. Absolutely. All right, let me get to this super chat, and then I'm going to get to our next call. Actually, no, Nick. So I'm going to let you go. I'll get to our next call. Actually, no. Hold up. Time out. Give me your score prediction for this game this Saturday.
Well, you convinced me, so I'll go Michigan 7. No, I'm not. I'll go Michigan 28, Illinois 17.
I'll take
No,
it, man. Let's get a
yeah,
victory.
yeah, 28-17. Yeah,
All right, let's
and
get a victory.
Illinois gets like a late touchdown, so it'll actually be bigger
Garbage
gap.
time.
Yeah, garbage time touchdown. So really kind of 28-10.
All right,
So
here we go. No. All right, Nick. Well, hope to hear from you Saturday. Hopefully, we got a good one.
hell yeah, man. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, go blue, Nick.
Peace.
Bradley Forrester here, $10 super chat. Help me pay for another hour, fellas and folks. Aaron Spencer is helping out with that. We got Aaron Spencer here with the $4.99 super chat. We are now 85 away from another hour. Let's get to it. We got Al on the line. You are next, my friend. What's up? Go blue, my friend.
What's up, TJ? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm all right. Man, I'm so mad because I wanted to call in the last couple of weeks, but I just got so busy moving back and stuff. And so, listen, the way I watch the games is after every big play, I always go on Twitter and I go straight to your Twitter to see what you're about to say. Because I feel like everything you're thinking is like you're the only one that pretty much says exactly what we're all thinking. So after that, I'm always waiting for the call-in show. I'm never able to call. So, man, I'm just happy to be here now.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad. I'm glad this can be an outlet. Like that's the goal. I want this to be an outlet for everybody. This is the Michigan community. Listen, I'm a fan as much as you guys are. Like, I'm not. I don't have. I don't have to walk any lines. I just call it like it is, and I'm on the same wavelength you guys are on. We're all seeing the same thing. So this is our opportunity to just, I don't know, vent and celebrate together.
I mean, you and Moose. I'm not. I don't know who Moose is. I just always see him in the chat, but I see him on Twitter. He's hilarious.
Yeah, Moose is
He's
my
so
boy.
funny.
Yeah, Moose is our
So,
boy.
before I get into, well, I'm a few weeks back, so I do want to get into some of the actual football stuff. But before I
Okay.
do that, I wanted to ask you about recruiting. Is there anything on Nathaniel Boateng and Ivan Taylor? Ivan Taylor, I'm scared about. So
Yeah. So Ivan Taylor is going to be visiting. He's going to come back to Michigan for the Michigan State game, which is good. If there's a recruit to, I don't want to say worry about, because that's not the word. If there's a recruit who is potentially, um, a concern,
Mhm.
I guess he would be the one. But I don't, we're not at the point where I don't think we're at the point where we need to be concerned. I think it's just something to monitor. He's going to come back for the Michigan State game. That's huge. So, I mean, so here's the thing: after his Alabama game, after his Alabama visit, he immediately reached out to Michigan and said, "Hey, when can I come back?"
Oh,
That's a
good.
great sign to me.
Yeah.
So that's great. And then in terms of Owasu Boateng, so I'm sure everybody saw. I think it was this weekend he visited Colorado, and now Colorado's a player. We know how that goes. Here's the thing about Owasu Boateng that I'll say. He appears to just love to play the game. He's really into the recruiting. And what I mean by that is like really fanning the fan bases and getting them really into it, hyping them up. And
I mean, look at his
uh,
Instagram. I don't know if you do. If you look at his Instagram, you could tell any school he visits, a lot of
oh
the
yeah,
time he deletes his posts and he'll post something of like, now he deleted everything. He only has Colorado and he has Michigan as his like icon photo. He does it everywhere he goes.
yeah, yep, exactly. He always, whoever the most recent visit is the
Yeah.
greatest. So what I will say is Michigan's still in that battle. They're still working hard. There's actually another linebacker, son of a gun. What is it? He's committed to Duke. Let me find out. Went to the same high school as let's see, Sullivan, Cole Sullivan.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name either, but I saw that. Yeah.
I'll get it right here. He's actually a beast. Things seem to be actually, yeah, Bradley Gompers, I think is his last name. Here, I'll share the screen here. So this kid here is also Michigan right now is working to flip him from Duke. We did not have this in our Tuesday recruiting segment, but he's at Central Catholic and PA is the same exact high school as Cole Sullivan. They were former teammates. This kid's a linebacker. As you can see, 247 is extremely high on him as a national 104 ranked player. Let's just say there's some mutual interest here. So let's see where this goes. I think this is a player we should be aware of. I'm a big fan of his game too, by the way. Very good player. So let's see what the boys can do.
I mean, I would love him and Sullivan together. I mean, you have a 6'5" and a six. What is Sullivan 6'4" or 6'3"?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have two huge linebackers. I mean, look, I hate coming on here and talking about the coaches every week. 'Cause I mean, anytime I call, I'm always saying something, negative about the coaches. But I just get so scared with our linebackers coach having like because we have talent right now, and that's another point I wanted to get to. A lot of people call Barham dumb, and I think the only dumb thing is our linebackers coach because he was very intelligent at Maryland. He really was.
Yeah, who was it? Someone did mention that. Yeah, that's not it for me. I don't think he's low IQ player at
I don't.
all.
Uh-uh.
I think the scheme is just a bit complicated, and it was actually reiterated today on the roundup show on
Yeah, I watched it.
247.
Yep.
Sam Webb was not there.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
Apparently he's on assignment, so whatever that means. Um, so yeah, I think the reality is, and I'm hoping that the defense gets a bit simplified, which is it's very interesting that this defense is complicated when we know Mike Mentor and Mike McDonald and Jesse Mentor ran a complex defense.
Mhm.
So apparently the terminology is not identical, and some of the design concepts or the scheme concepts are not similar. Obviously, we know this, especially doing as much man as we're doing. So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I blame the coaches, not the players. I don't think we have a player problem, and I don't think Deshaun Barham's a bad player. Actually, I know he's not. He was very good at Maryland.
Well, that's where like kind of where I'm at. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's
No,
where I'm at as well. I'm like our players are not the problem, and I know there's not one low IQ player on this team because we've watched them perform, all of them. Except for Zeke Berry, pretty much. But I still don't think he's low IQ, not at all.
No, I don't either. I think he's just young.
But I'll get to that point too later. But
Yeah.
I do believe that our linebackers are extremely intelligent, both of them, and it's just like if every player is having a hard time, you gotta pick out what the common denominator is, which is obviously the coach at that point. And I hate saying that because of course we want recruits coming here, and it's like it sounds bad when you're always dogging coaches, but like I mean you do have to be honest. At the end of the day, it's worse if you're gonna be dogging the players when it's really not them.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, it's going to be people are going to look for reasons why, like they're going to try and figure out what is the cause to the result, and they're going to start pointing fingers. They're going to start throwing shit at the wall, right, until it sticks, right? So it is what it is. I mean, I don't think the players. I really don't think it's now offensively. We're talking a different story.
Completely different story.
I don't think it's low IQ players. I think it's a lack of skill
Agreed.
at certain positions.
Mhm.
Now, defensively, we do not have a lack of skill.
No.
We have a schematic issue right now. So, again, I'm very excited for this bye week because I'm hoping that we've seen moments in the season to be optimistic. The team does have it. It's just about putting it together. So let's see if they can do it and make the right adjustments.
Well, hey, defensively, let's be honest. We just saw what happened with Ohio State, which I'm still very high on Ohio State, but we saw what happens when they have all the talent in the world and their defensive coordinator was just really putting them out of position. And he put Denzel Burke in a lot of bad positions. And if that was us with Will Johnson, we'd be saying, oh, Will Johnson sucks. Not sucks, but we'd be saying, like, what happened to Will Johnson? Why is he not playing great? That's what happens when your coach puts you in a bad position. Now everyone else feels it. Ohio State used to make fun of us with Will Johnson because he got burnt a couple plays out of the season. Now they see what happens. To be fair, so it could happen to anybody. And that's why I say I don't always believe it's the players. 95% of it really is schematics, I guess I'd say.
Yeah, especially right now. Let me get to the super chat. So defend the natty, $10 super chat. We have a chance against Illinois. You know what's interesting about this is so I did a segment today for our Voice of College Football bets for the Voice of College Football with our betting expert, Steve Merrill, who works for Daily Wager. And we were actually watching the lines move in real time today. And one of the lines that was very interesting to us was the Michigan game, because initially it opened at -1.5 Michigan. Now it's at -3.5. Now this is a road game. So obviously home field advantage, you typically get 2.5 to 3 points to you. So they are expecting, and Steve Merrill, our betting expert, he runs simulations. He runs 10,000 simulations on every game with his model, and he has Michigan winning this game, and he has Michigan covering the spread on that. So he thinks Michigan's in a good spot to win this game. I also think Michigan's in a good spot to win this game. I think we will. I think we come out of this weekend with a victory. So shout out to Defend the Natty. We are now $75 away from another hour. We have 15 minutes to get $75, and we have one more caller. So let's go Wolverine Nation. Let's get us to a second hour. All right, what else you got for us, Al?
I just wanted to ask you a couple like offensive things, just to see what you're thinking. I'm gonna start off with Mullings. I need Michigan to stop saying like I know they always try to make him and Donovan have like even carries, but you can't keep counting a 4th and 1 or a 3rd and 1 as a carry. Don't even count that as a carry. Like you got to give him more opportunities. And I don't know how many he had last week, but he was even with Donovan, wasn't he? Pretty much correct. Like pretty, they're almost
yes.
even.
Last week, yes, they went back to Donovan.
Yeah, and to me,
it was like 16-14 Donovan or something.
Yeah, so to me, I'm like, don't count these 3rd and 1s or 4th and 1s as an actual run. Like, I mean, on a stat sheet, sure, but you got to give him more chances. Like, I don't believe that we should ever get away from Mullings right now. If they want to talk about the hot hand, Donovan Edwards is not a hot hand. I like him, but he's a score 1 touchdown. Thank you very much. Now let's go back to Mullings. That's what I believe.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's like because he broke that run, they were like, "Oh, well, now it's time. Now he's arrived," and it's like, no, this is what he does. This is how he works. Like again, it doesn't mean take him off the field. No, it means utilize him better, but run with Khalil Mullings.
Yep.
Like it's funny because like what me and John have been preaching that we want Michigan to do, they've been slowly adjusting to what we've been saying, put Crippen at center, put Percy at right tackle, make Mullings RB1, which we along with the fan base have been screaming from the rooftops, right?
Mm-hmm.
We wanted some creativity. We wanted guys in motion. We wanted more slant routes, quicker routes, mesh concepts. They started to implement these things and then they go away from it. Then they stop going with Donovan Edwards and then they're back with Judice. And then it's weird. I don't know.
What scared me a little bit was when Tuttle came in the game, which also Tuttle played very well, but like, why did we get away from the run just because Tuttle was in the game? I was confused by that too. Like, which that also brings me to my next question. Kirk Campbell, of course, we want all the talent we can get. We want best quarterback, best receivers, everything. But if his plan is to like get away from the run, that scares me a little bit. And I already don't trust him because of what he's doing, what he did the second Tuttle came in the game. Like, I don't know. I just get very scared. I don't know what you think. Like, would you think that we should try to be more of a passing team or stick with the run? Because I feel like that's what makes Michigan.
Yeah, no, I think you can be a balanced team. I think you can set your offense up with the run, with a power run game, which we will, and then you supplement it with I would say a competent passing attack, which Jack Tuttle showed in the first half that he's capable of. Now, again, Washington adapted, they countered, and we did not. And that's the biggest thing for me is what can this coaching staff make the proper adjustments in the second half? Because what we're seeing here, and this is evident, if anybody says, well, what is the true effect of coaching? How much does it really matter? Well, listen, this is what an inexperienced coaching staff does not know how to adjust in the second half. An experienced coaching staff, Jed Fish, who's had, he was obviously the head coach at Arizona, and he's had many stops amongst his career. We lost the game because we lost to an experienced head coach. We didn't lose because Washington was the better team. We lost because our coach.
I agree for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we have that problem that once a team figures us out, we're pretty much screwed. We have no plan B. We can't. You said it before. We can't counter their counter.
Right.
That's our problem.
We have yet to see that. And Tim Prangley of our USC channel, me and him were talking after the game, and we don't agree on everything at all. But I mean, he made an excellent point, and that point was, the way we beat USC. He goes, when teams get more film on Alex Orji, and they understand how you guys are utilizing him, they're gonna be able to stop him. And he was right. And that's exactly what happened. We saw what happened against the Minnesota game. We saw what happened against the Washington game. It got so bad that Michigan could not drive the field.
Yeah.
So then they went with Jack Tuttle. And we knew, and what's funny is, again, as a fan base, we saw it coming. Like, we talked about how, like, people are like, oh, when's Jack Tuttle going to come in? Because we started telling everybody, like, listen, he's getting practice reps. Well, here it was. He was introduced into the game after, and the fan base was calling for it. I mean, I put out a post on Twitter.
Yeah.
I said, it's Jack Tuttle time. In the very next drive, here comes Jack Tuttle. Yep.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm talking about your Twitter. I'm like, I go on there and I'm like, right when I saw that, I was like, okay, he's coming to the game. I know he's coming to the game.
Yeah,
which I will say, he doesn't really have a strong arm in my opinion, but he did really impress me. Like, I mean, for what he did, he's still shaky, but I mean, come on, for practicing 1 week and playing. I mean, I know he's 28 years old, but still.
Well, he looked composed and he
Yeah.
looked like he was going through his progressions and he looked like the moment wasn't too big. And, I was actually impressed. And I know Keith Rebar is loving this conversation.
For sure.
He's next, by the way, Wolverines Nation, our good friend Keith. But yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited. I'm optimistic. Hopefully this weekend, it's what we hope for, and it's not Illinois,
Let me say this.
dragging us.
This is
Dragging
what I
us.
think. This is what I think. I know everyone keeps saying that Illinois hates us and that's what's scary and they hate us. Listen, I hate Conor McGregor and he'll kick my ass. Okay, Illinois hates us. We're still gonna kick their ass. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much they hate us. I don't believe Illinois could beat us.
Yeah, well, they're playing pretty good, and their quarterback's actually playing insanely good. So that's kind of the reality. Their defense, but here's the thing though, their run defense is suspect as hell.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can run the ball, which I think we can, and if we can get pressure on the quarterback, which I think we can, I feel like we're going to be all right. And as well as as long as the team plays sound football, like no missed tackles, no stupid penalties, don't turn over the damn ball. I'm not worried about missing field goals. We have a damn sniper as a kicker right now in Zavada. So,
look, I just truly feel if in terms of Wink on defense, as long as he doesn't, this is just my opinion. To me, it's more of his defensive alignment. His I know some people would say it's
you there, Al?
His disguises are, you can disguise from wherever you want, but you don't have to put the entire team right up to the line of scrimmage. That's why our safeties keep getting burnt. So as long as he can let them just play a base defense and disguise the linebackers when they're going to blitz, but you don't got to put everybody at the line, I think we're going to be all right.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Can Wink Martindale not have an itchy trigger finger and do that? Can he be patient and responsible defensively? We'll find out. Let me get to these super chats here real quick and our gifted membership. So we have Tom Bouchard here with the $5 gifted membership. We appreciate you, Tom. It means a lot to us. Again, with another one, Tom Bouchard gifting out. He's our Oprah tonight, gifting out memberships. You get a membership and you get a membership. Remez here with the $2 super chat, trying to keep the stream alive. We greatly appreciate you, man. And then Moose here, our good friend, a member for 4 months. 4 months, our loyal ally, our guy in the trenches. We greatly appreciate it. Okay, I got one more. So we got Keith Rebar next, and then Keegan. And after Keegan, we're gonna cut it off there. But yeah. So all right, give me your final thoughts, Alan. Give me your score prediction for the weekend.
I think Michigan will be all right, and I think we're gonna win. I'll say 28-24 possibly, something around that.
Okay, well, as long as we get the victory, I'm good with that, man. I'm good with that. Greatly appreciate it. Let's get the victory. Don't be a stranger, Al. Don't move. Don't move next time, huh?
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
All right, have a good one, man. Go Blue. My man Steve here with the $9.99 super chat, trying to get us there for another hour. We got some callers. We still got time. Let's see. We're at 58. We are 58 away from a second hour. Let's see what we can do. Wolverine Nation. And then obviously right now we have our leader, our trusted leader, Keith Rebar. What's up, buddy?
Hey, good. You want to bring on Keegan, TJ?
Of course we can bring on Keegan. How we doing, Keegan? You there, bud?
Looks like I made the cut.
You made the cut, Keegan.
We're buddies on this line, Keegan. So we'll wrap it up for him.
Yeah, sounds good.
We may be extending the way Moose is coming at us right now. He just gifted. So when we get these super chat, guys. So we got Steve here with the $9.99. What's good, guys? I'm late to the party, but wanted to say hi. 27-17 Michigan Go Blue. Appreciate you, Steve. Moose here with 5 gifted memberships here, bringing us down to let's see, was that 33? 33 away from a second hour. We may do it. We may do it. So, all right, Keith and Keegan, what's on your mind? What do we got here? And shout out to Moose, by the way.
Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, I want to I want to say, everybody knows I'm captain of the Jim Tuttle or the Tuttle fan club, and
In
even
fact,
even my friends are all teasing me about that now, in the real world. So, but I've been watching this quarterback room for 2 years, and I saw that that Tuttle kind of stood above everybody else as being the first or best passer and first or best or first or second runner, and he looked like a solid decision maker. And I think we're starting to see that. It'll be interesting to see how he does after this 2 week break. So you were right, TJ. I was very excited to hear all this pro Tuttle talk.
oh, I knew it, man. Yeah, I'll be honest, Keith. I think about you all the freaking time because of this. Whenever I'm like, damn it, Keith was right the whole time. You were right. You were like, well, I think Chris Ballas. Chris Ballas was right. Heading into fall camp. And I'm not mad either. I've always said, I've always wanted whoever can win his games. I don't care if it's Tuttle, Warren, Davis, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the best man wins the job. And right now, Tuttle, I mean, I think we were all very impressed with the way Tuttle came into the game and at least handled the offense the first half. What's your thoughts, Keegan?
Yeah, I agree with that. Tuttle looks like the clear cut number one. It looked like a Michigan offense, and I think he's the path forward. We don't know who's going to finish the season. Tuttle gets injured a lot, and he's going to run the ball. So that's the way he is, and that's the way we want him. So you could see more, or you could see other quarterbacks too. But Tuttle looks good, and at this point, I'm not convinced that we'll see the changes that we want in the offense. I think it is what it is, and the defense is what it is. But they did have the bye week to try to get things straightened out. So the line was what, 3.5. So um, that's about what I expected. I expected 3. So should be a good game. And yeah, the wink stuff. I don't know. I'm not convinced that we should get rid of him yet. I know
Really? Hold
that's the
on.
last thing everybody wants to hear, but
That's okay. You can voice your opinion. So what makes you? So let's talk about it. Why do you think Wink deserves more time than he's gotten?
well, he's transitioning from the NFL to college, and I get
Yeah.
the point. I get a couple points. That one, um, the NFL isn't the college. The speed is much quicker. You have a lot of help a lot faster, and I don't like how um, the the players aren't breaking their feet down and forcing them either to the outside or to help. And he's he's blitzing a lot. I think he's blitzing too much, but some things could get straightened out in the bye week. So um, I'm convinced that the defense is going to be good. I don't know how long that's going to take. So I think with that, I think that we could drop another one and still make the playoffs. I think that Oregon and Ohio State are beatable. You've got your Illinois, your Michigan States, your Indianas. I mean, who knows at this point? Maybe even Northwestern, but um, all those games are winnable and all those games are losable. So I just think that they're going to right the ship, and we could go to the playoffs. And we can't see it right now, but that's what I think that's what I expect. I expect us to maybe even lose another game earlier on in the season and still make the playoffs and right the ship.
Well, I think okay. So I agree with you that the season's early enough. We can right the ship. I agree with that. And I'll listen, Keegan. I don't disagree with the fact that, like, look, it's only what, week 8 or 7. I don't even know. It's 7 or 8 right now. Like we're gonna have more time to see what is Wink Martindale really about, right? I mean, so I agree with you. Like, let's see if he can evolve within the season. And that's why the bye week's so big to me. You know, that I want to see that. But I want to give a shout out to everybody watching the show and everybody calling the lines. And we've unlocked another hour. So thank you everybody who contributed to uh obviously contributing to the show. I will go through all the super chats. Let me do this call with our friends here, and I will definitely give my respects and appreciation to each and every single one of you for making this happen. Honestly, we have a wonderful community, and I appreciate all of you. So, all right, Keith, let me ask you this: do you agree with Keegan? Does Wink Martindale deserve more time after this season?
Absolutely. Um, Everybody's focusing on poor pass defense we've had. It's down in the 120s or the 130s,
Yeah.
and I agree that our guys are having a hard time picking up Wink system, and we got a little bit of gunslinging by Will Johnson. But there's I got an email. I think it was from mgoblue.com that said in terms of TFLs, sacks, and yards per play,
Mhm.
Michigan is leading the Big Ten or the nation. It's probably the Big Ten. So there's part of our defense that is really working well, is really elite. And we see flashes of that boa constrictor defense we had last year. And we got to get Wink to stand up, I think, to be more of a leader and less of a technician. Um, in the pro ranks, it's hard to be a leader, although Campbell at Detroit seems to be uh, really leading that team very well. But that's the exception, not the rule. A lot of pros are technicians rather than leaders. But I think we're on our way to get our defense better every week. And we just, in this bye, might help us bring that defensive backfield a little into the fold. So I'm very hopeful, and I'm hopeful for a comfortable win against Illinois with the bye and everything.
Yeah.
And
Me too, yeah.
I think that's why the money's been flowing towards Michigan, is because there's people are noticing a lot of Michigan doing a lot of things right during this bye period.
Yeah, that's something that the our guy Steve Merrill mentioned, is that there is definitely some major money operations pushing the Michigan line right now. There's something he said, because it started out at 1.5, it's moved to 3.5. He said, he thinks that some major money has there's some, I think he called them like gambling syndicates or whatever. There's like these groups of big money whales who identify opportunities, and they'll throw millions of dollars down. And he says there's something they're identifying with the Michigan game, but he also, he confirmed with his model and then with his own analysis that he thinks that Michigan looks good for the spread. You guys, by the way, we put the clip up from the Voice of College Football Bets segment. It's in our videos if you guys want to check it out. He kind of goes into it all, but and it's pretty interesting. It's not just, I mean, he does talk about obviously the game and the gambling aspect, but he'll give like some insights in terms of, the way things are trending in terms of statistics for the game. But yeah, I mean, I agree, Keith. I don't know, for some reason, I feel we're going to come into this game Saturday and we're going to handle business. I really do. I don't know why I have that. I guess I'm just optimistic. Potentially I'm going to get my medicine, but I don't know. I think the boys are going to do it. I mean, what do you think, Keegan? What's your thoughts on this game this weekend?
Yeah, I can tell you why you think that is because they almost lost to Purdue, and um, in week 2 after Texas, and I said all these teams were winning. Illinois, Michigan State at the time, Indiana, and that's all we have to go off of is those teams are winning. So Illinois is still winning. So that's why I'm not as confident in this game as like a 10 or 14 point spread. I think that the the spread is correct. I would put it at 3. I think it's going to be a barn burner and probably low scoring. But I mean, at this point, I mean, college football makes everybody look stupid. All the time, every week it does. And so, my question to you, TJ, about Wink, is why do you think he needs to go? Because is there any redeemable qualities in this year with his past experience that would not justify that he could figure it out at the college level and make changes?
Well, so I will qualify by saying I'm going to give him the entire year before I come to any true conclusions. But as it stands, the reason why I feel we need to move on from Wink Martindale is because I feel he is not built for the college game. I think he thinks his players are further along than they really are. I don't
That's
know if
right.
he I don't know if he's capable of teaching these kids the true basics and the fundamentals to getting to the point of a more polished player. And because of that, I'm worried he's a pro coach, not a college coach. On top of this, I think his feel for the game is questionable. We've seen some very questionable calls defensively that have cost us. The
True.
timing of these calls, the timing of these blitzes, and then not only that, the identification of putting a Jair Hill on an island in certain critical moments. It's like you got to know your personnel, man. Like it's just like chess, right? Like you got to know your pieces, their strengths, their weaknesses, and you cannot make a move that is detrimental that can cost you the game. And for me, Wink's feel for the game as well as his current development and scheme it's questionable to me, and I think it's hurting us.
Yeah, that's correct. And it's obvious that he's stubborn, but with the bye week, yeah, it is funny. But with the bye week, maybe there's some conversations had. Uh, it could work out.
100%. No, I think I am hope. Well, here's the thing. So to Wink's credit, he's a veteran. Like Wink, like he knows ball. And he is the architect of the scheme. So I really do hope and believe that. I think Michigan. I think the boys, the coaches, players, I think they're pissed off, to be honest. I think they don't find it acceptable. And I think they're looking in the mirror and I think they're making the right. One of the things that's very encouraging to me is the adjustments that Sharon Moore is saying publicly on the offensive line, putting Crippen at center. We've all kind of felt he should be. Moving Percy to right tackle, we've all known he should be. Things like that. And then also, and let's give credit here too. Sharon did not stick with Alex Orji in Washington. He said, all right, pull the plug, Jack Tuttle
Yeah.
going. He
Yep.
made, just like he did in the Penn State game. Like we've seen some savvy, adjustments in game before, which gives me hope for Sharon Moore. But I don't know. I mean, I think the coaches, this is a great opportunity to show growth, and we're going to find out this Saturday if they can really do it.
Yeah, exactly. And I told my dad, if they're going to put in Tuttle, this is where you do it right here. And there he goes. Tuttle marches right out there, and then they come back. So I'm optimistic about the rest of the season. We don't have that same validation on the defense as we did on the offensive decision to put Tuttle in. But I think the bye week came right when it needed to happen, and hopefully they get some of that stuff worked out, and hopefully we get some injuries worked out with Muir Hall, and I'd like to see some Wes Walker or whatever his name is, and
Marion Walker. Yeah, Marion Walker.
uh,
Yeah, Marion
Yes,
Walker.
Amarian Walker. Yes.
Yeah, Marion Walker.
I'm not convinced that Amarian Walker's the answer.
Oh, then wait, then who are you referring to when you say Wes Walker?
The safety.
Oh, is that Wesley? The kid from Tennessee you're talking about. Let me pull up my
Yeah.
sheet.
Wesley Walker.
Yeah, Wesley
yeah.
Walker. Okay,
Yeah.
Wesley Walker. Yeah, Wesley Walker from Tennessee. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean,
And
maybe.
Rotor can
Oh, I
play.
want more of that. Yes, I want more for sure. More Rolder for sure. And why not some more TJ Guy? I thought he actually played pretty good in Washington.
Yeah. And I didn't even
Derek.
hear about. Go ahead.
No, go on. What were you gonna say, Derek Moore?
No, I didn't even hear about the right tackle or the center. We've been
Oh
dealing
yeah.
with hurricanes down here, and it's been
Okay.
nonstop. I've been nonstop, but
Yeah.
that's
So
encouraging.
yeah. So in Sharon Moore's press conference this week, he said they're gonna move forward with Crippen at center, and then they said Percy has earned the opportunity at right tackle. I'm pretty sure it's something. I'm paraphrasing something along those lines. So. And in my opinion, that's your best starting five: Miles Hinton, Prevey, Crippen, Giovanni El Hadi, and Percy. I think that's actually a pretty good line. I really do.
Yeah, that's what I would have projected at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
But
some more good news. This is not related to this weekend, but this also came out this week. Rod Moore is returning, guys. He's going to come back for another year. He's not going to go to the NFL draft. And the reason why, now this is actually bad news. It's good news, but bad news. His injury recovery, he hit a bit of a slow spot, and he should be jogging at this point in time, and he's not. So he won't be ready to apparently he won't be in the position to get ready for the combine at the time he anticipated. So he will be coming back another year. So that's great. Rod Moore will be back next season. So that's actually really good news.
yeah, did you cover Babalola and the new receiver Pile?
Well, we can. Yeah, we can cover it again. So Babalola, it's looking really good for Michigan. He can commit any day, any moment. It could even be tonight. He's definitely going to make it as well. He's had about 5 timelines, so you never know, right? But apparently, he's definitely going to make a decision by next Friday or sooner. So, and Michigan feels really good about it. But here's the one thing that I will caution optimism, I guess, and I don't want to, but he's not told any team they're out of it yet. But he has essentially told Michigan he's coming he's coming. So, but at the same time, why wait and why haven't you told these other teams? I don't know. Recruiting is so funny sometimes. So we'll see what happens. I think Michigan. What I do know is that Sean Moore and Grant Newsom did an excellent job when they visited him on the bye week. They closed very well. We'll see if it transpires to what we're all anticipating. I mean, the best of the best in the industry think he's coming to Michigan. So if Will Fong and Sam Webb, and I think Bryce Marich also put in a pick. But I mean,
Yeah, he
obviously,
did.
Sam Webb and Will Fong, in my opinion, are top. They're A
They have
class
high ratings.
here.
as
So,
as well as on 3 and 24/7.
well, Sam Webb is on 24/7, and Will
Oh,
Fong is on 3.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So, no, those, yeah. So, yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. And then in terms of, Pyle, the wide receiver, he's a 2026 wide receiver, 6 foot. Me personally, I like to be very honest with. I'm not as high on him, and the reason why is my concern is his speed. He runs an 11,900 meter, which is very, very slow.
Yeah,
Like,
EJ compared him to Samaj, though.
well, so right, so EJ said that his time is similar to Samaj Morgan's time in high school, but he plays faster on the field. And listen, respectfully, he has some really good offers from some some very good programs who identify wide receiver talent. So. He's young. He's a junior. The coaching staff likes him because he's a good route runner. He's physical. He's a good hands catcher, and apparently his attitude. He has a good attitude. So we'll
How
see.
big? How big is he, TJ? Because that sounds like a tight end time.
He's
I
like
know
5'10", 175 or
he's like
something like that.
6 foot. He's like, but who knows if he's really 6 foot? He might be 5'11". He's either 5'11" or 6 foot. Yeah, it's slow. It's slow, Keith. It's very. It's. I mean, to be honest, it's really like an offensive lineman's time.
I would say more like a tight end, not
So
necessarily an offensive lineman. Yeah,
Well, so if you convert 11.9 into a 40-yard dash, it comes out to about a 4.99. Those offensive
yeah.
linemen running that, dude.
Oh,
In the
you
NFL.
can't you
In the
can't do
NFL.
that math. Come
Well,
on
that's
now.
that's the conversion. I mean, obviously. Well, here's the thing, though, right? So you don't know what his first 10 yards are, his first 20. We don't know what that looks like, but
Right.
just if we're gonna just use a tool, that's what it comes out to.
Yeah, but anyways, I wanna hit Moore and Campbell. And Moore had a tough situation this year. He had a weak quarterback room. His best quarterback was injured and barely saw the field until um, September. And he had a bunch of quarterbacks that were really struggling with the system and throwing a lot of picks. We heard about it all through the spring and the summer. And a week or two before the season, um, Warren got hot. So Moore really was in no position but to play Warren to start. Then, when Warren fell into his interception cycle again, we obviously had to replace him with Orgy.
Yeah.
And the other teams in the Big Ten and around football saw Orgy last year, and Arkansas State put 9 guys in the box against Orgy.
Yeah.
And when Orgy was the quarterback, and our offense was so predictable, that's when we got all these bad passing. And then somebody said, he can't go anywhere but from 30, but up, because he got 30 the first game, he got 80 the second game, but then he got 15 in the third game.
Yeah.
15 yards in a quarter and a half.
Yep.
And it just was way, way too one-dimensional and too easy to defend. And so, but in Moore's defense, they say he shouldn't have started Orgy. But you know what? Orgy won that USC game for us.
100%.
Orgy made the plays he needed to. He needed a lot of help from the running back. That 63-yard burst by Mullings got us that winning margin for that USC game. But Orgy got us in the end zone. You had to give him another chance. You had to start him and give him a half. And Moore gave him just under a half and said, 15 yards isn't good enough. He started 4 for 4. Then he missed his next 4 passes, and he was still at 15. And Moore said, okay, we got to bring in somebody that has more capabilities. And then he brought in Tuttle. So I think Moore had his hands tied with the poor quarterback situation that he had, and did what he could. Newsome, not Newsome, but Newsome's getting used to this group too. But as for the offensive backs, when the box was loaded under Orgy, Mullings was by far the better back. But last game, when Tuttle came in, Edwards was the better back. The safeties were deep. The linebackers were wider. And Edwards excels in that environment. And Edwards had like 17 or 18 carries for 98 yards, I think.
Yeah, but he had a big run. He had a very big run, Keith.
And he had a 51-yard touchdown break like we had against Washington in the championship game twice. Yeah. And so with the spread defenses that they're going to have to do for Tuttle, I say, like Texas has 2 number 1 quarterbacks, we have 2 number 1 running backs. At times, Mullings is the man, and at times, Edwards is the man. And I like them both for different reasons. And I think Tony Alford has done a good job with them. On the offensive line, some people say like the backups for Georgia could start for half the other teams in the league in football. And yeah, but if they do, they're going to kind of look like the Michigan line, because that's what they're saying last year about Michigan. These backups could start for a lot of other teams in football. Well, now they're starting for us, and they kind of look like backups that have been promoted. And we just don't have the tools that we had on the offensive line that we had last year. We're definitely B players instead of A players on the offensive line, more
Yeah.
so than not. So I think the coaching staff, more Campbell and Newsom, are doing good, doing well with what they have. It's just the cupboard's kind of bare right now, and they're
Yeah.
doing the best they can.
I agree with that, Keith. But the argument is, then why didn't they do more in the portal? Because we knew there was issues at right tackle, like that was known. We didn't know about the quarterback situation per se, but they should have known. It's like, I mean, that's where, like, I think the frustration comes from the fan base. It's like, well, why didn't you take the necessary steps in the April portal? And like everyone's like, well, who was in the portal? And then we get back to, well, you got to play the game that you get people into the portal. And then people will say, and this is where, Keith, I'll agree with you, because your counter might be, well, the collectives and the recruiting department wasn't structured right yet, which is true. And that's why, so there's truth to this. So there's definitely there's definitely two sides of this debate here. And like most things, and I'm sure Keegan would agree, because he seems like the type to really, analyze everything, both sides. There's truth. Like you can, both sides can be true. Okay. Like but the results are what matters. And at the end of the day, the coaching staff has to, they got it. This off season's their off season. It's their off season to really put their stamp on it, and we can identify what is their approach, what is their vision for the program, and this off season is going to be their, I would say their, like I would call it, like almost an identifier in terms of like what we can expect for the program, because there's no way it's not going to be all in. Because coaching positions do not last a long time. You have to get results, and results quick. So, and again, like I've shared, there's some encouraging things going on behind the scenes. So, we'll see where it goes. But all right, Keith and Keegan, let me get your guys' prediction for the game this weekend, and then I'm gonna get these super chats in our next caller.
I got 23-17 blue. I agree with 3.5. I would put it at 3 if I had to. But I do think that last week's game with Purdue for Illinois isn't impressive. So maybe it falls apart for them a little bit for the rest of the season. So I would say 23-17, and I don't know what's next for Michigan. Maybe we lose to Michigan State. Maybe we lose to Indiana,
Let's hope
and
that we
then
better not lose to Michigan State.
I think we probably, after Indiana, I think we probably win out.
Oh yeah, you think we're beating Northwestern Ohio State
And Oregon.
There you go. Well, Oregon's before Indiana, but I'll tell you what,
There
we
you
better
go.
not lose to Michigan State. That is a night game. That is a night game, and the fans are gonna be pretty rowdy. But all right, Keith, what do you got for us? What's the score prediction for this weekend?
I think we're going to win by 2 scores. I think we really made the most of the bye. It sounds like the coaching staff did, and the players are all getting their heads in better spots. And they've got a very good quarterback, and Illinois plays us tough. But if we're ready for them, we can handle them. And I'm expecting something like 20-10 something. I think our defense is gonna stand up, and our offense will do okay. So I'd say like 20-10 or 24-14.
All
Michigan.
right, we'll take it. We'll take it, man. I'll take either one of those scores. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Keegan, and thank you, Keith, for calling in. We appreciate you guys. Go Blue.
Go Blue, baby.
Go Blue.
All right. So I got to give a shout out to everybody who made the second hour happen. We appreciate all of you guys. First, we're going to go with Moose here. $8 to go, but we already achieved it, buddy. Thank you. $10 Moose. Defending the Natty through $8 to get us the second hour. Appreciate you. Our friend Steve here. Let's get this second hour. We are here. It's arrived. We're doing the damn thing. We got Tom Bouchard here gifting a membership. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. Bradley Forrester gifting another membership. Thank you, Bradley. We appreciate it. And then Cassie Williams. Shout out, Cassie. You seem new. Thank you for contributing to the channel. I really don't see Michigan beating Oregon, but I sure hope they do. You know what, Cassie? I sure hope they do too. So let's hope the boys get it together, figure it out, and get the dub. So our next caller here is Block M. What is up, my friend? Go Blue. Hey, are you the one that I'm DMing talking about Michigan basketball?
Yes, sir.
What's up, my friend? How you doing?
What's up, man? It's nice to see you.
Yeah, you too.
So been wanting to get on here for a little while now, and I think I was on this or gonna be on at some point. Something happened and I couldn't make it, but my apologies.
All good, man.
So, man, Keith, the guy who was on just last, he's got some really good points when it comes to the quarterback room being weak, and I mean, obviously, obviously, it's weak. So the only flip side to that TJ, I've heard you talk about quite a bit, is that I understand that Michigan was late to the portal because they were winning the national title, which was amazing. But at the same time, you had to kind of read the room a little bit, and even if Harbaugh was going to stay, you kind of could argue that JJ was probably going to go to the NFL after the year that he had, and most likely was going to be a top 10 pick, at the very least, a first round pick. And knowing that, I feel like you should have been more aggressive.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of somewhat of an easy card to play to say, well, it was too late, and they didn't really have a quarterback they were targeting, and stuff that I've heard and seen on Twitter and whatnot. But I think you could have definitely gotten a quarterback that's better than what we have, especially
100%.
considering one can't even throw the ball.
Yeah, no, 100% you could have. They 100% could have gotten a quarterback. The James Madison quarterback, McLeod, was available. He was available in the portal during April. You didn't even have to make a phone call. He was available. Right. He's playing for North Texas, and he has 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 71% completion. I'll just share the screen. So this kid here, who played for Kurt Signetti at James Madison, was available in the portal. Michigan decided not to pursue him. He's having a hell of a year. Could you imagine if we had him at quarterback?
Right. I mean, yeah.
They chose not to. You think North Texas, hold on, Block M, do you think North Texas is going to out NIL us?
I mean,
hell no.
I certainly hope not. My
I'm
thing
sorry,
too is
not
that
Texas State. Apologies.
Okay. So my thing too is about the situation is that they knew what they had, and they didn't really have I don't want to call the coaching staff in any way dumb, because they're obviously elite at what they do, but how could you know and have all of these kids in your locker room, in your program, in practice, and not see that, hey, we need to upgrade, and seeing what they just recently had with JJ saying, okay, we need to upgrade.
And it's not like it's a new coaching staff inheriting a program who hasn't seen these guys. They've seen these guys for years.
Exactly.
They know exactly what they have. This is, I would classify as a red flag. That's a concern that they were not able to identify what they currently have on the team and realize, oh, there's an issue. And then to our commenters here, who's like, oh, he's just a 6-footer, he's a game manager. Guys, what do we have at quarterback? We have a linebacker playing quarterback. We have a senior citizen playing quarterback, and then we have another player who unfortunately is just not Power 5 ready. I don't care if this kid's a game manager. If we had a game manager, we wouldn't have lost to Washington.
Yeah, and
this,
and yeah, I just that is a little bit of a red flag, and I completely agree with you on Wink Martindale. Honestly, if I have to be 100% honest, I was really most excited about him as the big hire this offseason for our coaching staff. Um, just, kind of just being like, okay, he coached elite talent in the NFL. Um, he's played against some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time as a defensive coordinator, a defensive coach. And then he comes to Michigan, and I'm not saying it's not Minner's system anymore, but they're doing things that Minter never really did, which was
Right.
do blitzes that were not only at the worst time, but also leaving guys wide open and leaving guys playing some of your best defensive backs 5-10 yards off the line of scrimmage. Just things that you didn't really see very much either under Mike McDonald or Jesse Minter. And to me, that's kind of concerning because we were sold the build that we were sold was, hey, everything's gonna stay the same.
Yeah. It's going to
Hey, this
transition.
is that I'm the OG of this system.
Right.
So to see it some drastic changes makes you kind of be like, wait a minute, what happened to the same?
Yeah, no, the idea was to transition the defense and maintain the players who wanted to be here. They wanted to play in the same defense, and it has some similarities to our previous defenses, but it's a different flavor, is what it is. And what's blowing my mind is they brought in Lamar Morgan to help transition the coverage disguises that Jesse Minter was using, and I don't see them. I see Wink Martindale being like, "No, we do it this way." Well,
Right.
this way isn't working, Wink. We have a defensive we have a passing defense ranked 115th in the nation.
Mhm.
We're ranked in the 130s on like first downs given up through passing. There's 135 teams. We're ranked in the 130s. Like this is insane. Like this is not. We have too much talent for that. This is not a personnel issue either because a lot of these guys, like Mark McCarry Page and Will Johnson, and granted, we do have a new safety. But Quentin Johnson was here last year, right? But
Right.
he didn't play. He didn't play a lot. He didn't have a lot of reps. But still, at the same time, you got listen. You got Zeke Berry and Jair Hill. These are highly ranked recruits. Amir Hall is a good player. He was injured last game, but I don't know. It's quite obvious to me that we have a. This is why I was talking with Keegan. He's like, well, I think you should get another year, and I gave my reasons why I am leaning we don't, and it's because there's just too many red flags.
If
Like I'm
if
I'm a
if the
proactive type. I'm not a reactive type. Like that's kind
right,
of my
I
approach.
I also liked what you said earlier. Um, you can relate it to sports, you can relate it to business, you can relate it to almost anything you want. When you said earlier, I think it was when you were talking to Keegan and Keith, the results are the results, man.
Yeah.
If you I don't care who you hire, I don't care who's playing quarterback. Everybody has their favorites, and you kind of hit your get somebody that you gravitate towards as a quarterback or a basketball player, whatever the case is. And I don't know, man. Like I really wanted Orgy to be the guy, but it was
Yeah.
clear he wasn't in the Washington game. And now it's Jack Tuttle, and we're gonna ride with Jack Tuttle. Which probably was the plan from the get go. But I guess he just couldn't stay healthy, which is another concern. And this is his 10,000th year in college.
Yeah. Well, he's healthy now. So,
Yes.
let's knock on wood there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't what's crazy to me is so how it looks to me is Kirk Campbell told Sharon Moore, I can develop these guys. There's enough potential here in this room. Sharon Moore, as being the new inexperienced coach, I think trusted him just like he's trusting Wink. So again, we got to let Sharon Moore really learn on the job here a little bit. I think he trusted, and really when you are a leader or a CEO, you have to trust the people you hire. right? Like you have to.
True.
If you cannot trust the people you hire, then you got to find new people, right? Or if you like, when I got into business, one thing I was told early in my career that I didn't fully understand was uh I have to be able to trust you. Like trust is a big deal. Like we have to have like I can trust him. I can trust like I didn't fully like why wouldn't you be able to trust me? I don't understand. But like what it means is can you deliver on projects? Do you do your job? Can I
Right.
count on you without looking over your shoulder? Stuff like
Hmm.
but like when you just got out of college, you don't fully grasp like what that means. But like but the reality is like Sharon Moore, I think, is going through a phase in his early coaching career and in program building where he trusted people, but those people are not meeting their job requirement. And I think Kirk Campbell over estimated his capabilities and capacities in developing players because he was able to do such a good job with JJ, and he does have a bit of a track record throughout his career. Um, I think that they got caught.
Yeah.
Sharon got caught trusting Sharon with his quarterback room. And then I think throughout what I think happened is through spring and through summer, they let the guys battle it out. I think Jack Tuttle was the best, as Chris Ballas was really the only one saying this. So shout out to
He
Chris
was pretty
Ballas.
adamant about it too.
Huh?
He seemed pretty adamant about it too.
Yeah, he was, man. And that's the thing is like a lot of people want to give like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm team Sam Webb, I'm team EJ, I'm team Chris. The truth is they're all right and wrong. Like
Right.
no one's batting 1,000. And but we give flowers when they're due. And I think what happened is Jack Tuttle was going to be the plan going into fall camp. He got injured. He went through that whole situation. And then we were left with Davis, Warren, and Orji. But then the frustrating part comes down to everything we were fed. Oh,
Right.
Warren looks great. Orji's going through his progressions. He's really developing as a passer. Davis Warren's hitting 80% of his completion percentage in camp. And Alex Orji's only thrown 3 interceptions all camp, which I mean, granted, Alex Orji's interceptions were not the issue. It's just his lack of playmaking ability with his arm and with his feet. I think we were all underwhelmed with his running ability.
You have done a good job with your analysis of his running ability because I frankly like, and to be fair, we haven't really seen a whole lot. Like we have a few plays here and there before he
Mm,
got some actual run of him running. So maybe I just kind of fell victim to the thought of having a dual threat quarterback. But
yeah,
man,
I think
he's not as fast as I thought or hoped he was gonna be. I remember one game against that game against, I think it was USC, where there's a play where he kind of gets at least it looked like he had the edge, and he got arm tackled at the leg and fell, and it looked like he was gonna get the first down, but it was only about a 5-yard gain. And there are some other plays too that happened where it's like, man, I really thought that was gonna be like a good gain there, and he gets a few yards or 5 yards, and
yeah, he has good straight line speed, but he's not agile and quick. He
okay,
doesn't have very good cutting ability. He doesn't have much wiggle. Like he's more stiff. He's a line, in my opinion. Like, and I don't want to like, I don't mean it to be disrespectful, but like he's a
right,
linebacker. He's a damn linebacker. He's unfortunately playing in the wrong position because he probably just wanted to be. Obviously, he wanted to be a quarterback. But like the thing about the whole dual quarterback is like that's the modern quarterback. It's sexy, it's
right,
shiny. But the reality is, you can be Jared Goff and run the number 1 offense in the NFL. You can be Trevor
right.
Lawrence, although Trevor Lawrence had a little bit of mobility, but like still, like you don't have to, you know, like all right. Here's one: Brady Hart, guys, not a dual threat. Brady Hart has an amazing arm, though. Like it's
Right,
okay.
but he like you were saying, he's more when I've watched Brady a little bit, he is definitely that old school. Not, yeah, I guess you could say it old school now, but um, he's more of a Peyton Manning, Tom
Pro style.
Brady,
He's a
where
pro style
he's
quarterback, but he
right,
can throw on the run, though. He can throw on the run. So I
right,
mean, like, yeah, no, he's definitely a solution. I mean, it'd be wonderful if we could pull a portal quarterback, Bryce Underwood and Brady Hart.
oh
That'd be
my
the
gosh, man,
dream. But we'll
yeah.
see. You know,
Yeah,
we'll see.
the thing for Bryce Underwood is that I think he kind of and you again have done a great job covering
Thank you.
this, is that I it always felt, at least to me from what I read, and I'm not totally in on everything Bryce Underwood, but from what at least I read is that it seemed like he wanted to come here, but there was just nothing, no money.
Well, okay, so that fits Dante Moore. That fits Dante Moore outside of he also wanted playing time his freshman year. But so Bryce Underwood, he was interested in Michigan. He really loves Kirk Campbell. But there's two things that were a factor. One, the play style, the offensive play style. Bryce Underwood's actually been very public. Me and Moose talk about this all the time. Bryce Underwood says LSU's, which I mean, it makes sense. Jaden Daniels came from here. It's a way
Right.
more pass pro quarterback system. He feels Michigan's offense is limited. So that's a concern. Then the other thing was, and this is just the unfortunate reality. And again, we're gonna give our hats off here to Sharon Moore, Sean McGee, Jaron Wagner. I'm even going to give a shout out here to Ward Manuel and our regents for getting it together and organizing and making sure that Michigan's now becoming competitive with NIL, which I think we're going to really see the fruits of that in these next coming months here. This month forward, we're going to see the fruits of that. There's a reason why there's buzz from Sam Webb and little hints or little leaks from myself from what I know. You got to be able to compete in the market in terms of what you can pay players, and I think Michigan is stepping to the plate now. I don't think so. Yes, to your point, LSU had a way bigger bag than Michigan. They were offering not just money either, though. They were offering housing, his girlfriend into the school, maybe a job for a family member, stuff like that. So Michigan
But that's the name of the game these days in this
of course.
new era of college sports. And that's the thing that has just evolved over the last 10, 15 years, is that it's not a secret that the highest talent is probably going to go where they can be fairly compensated. So
Yeah.
with knowing that, that is one where I will give Sharon props. We're kind of on this call, I've been kind of bashing him, but that is one area where I am impressed. Also with Dusty May, that that they have come in, and one of their number one priorities is, hey, we need to get funding.
Yep. Especially Dusty May. I'm going to give Dusty May the most credit here. I think, and I'll be honest, I think Dusty May has a positive impact on this athletic department. I think Dusty May, because I'm going to tell you, when Juwan Howard was here, and I know Juwan Howard did not have a good last 2 years, but Juwan Howard was pounding the table literally for Ward Manuel to do more with NIL, to the point where one of their fights became public. It leaked out that in May of last year, Juwan and Ward got into it because Juwan said, we got to do better here. I can't get these players to come, blah, blah, blah. Ward was like, no, I mean, like, I'm sorry. It's like, I'm sorry. My hands there's nothing I can do about it. My hands are tied, which is bullshit. But anyways, so long story short, Dusty May comes and he literally, Goodman, who covers basketball, college basketball, he was, shout out to him, because he was the first one to report this, that Dusty May received NIL assurances to come to Michigan, which is why he didn't go to Louisville. One, Michigan's a better fit than Louisville. Two, Michigan stepped to the plate and said, okay, we're going to give you NIL assurances, donors, all the like donor access, all this. And then Dusty May and Block M, me and you, we've talked about this, through the DMs. Dusty May made a national tour. He went to all the donors every single day. He has a 30-minute NIL meeting. He has, no question, expressed the importance of NIL to the athletic department, to the regents, everybody involved. And Dusty May is a damn grinder on the NIL tour. And Dusty May has said, the very first thing I did was I rounded up all the donors. I let them know the importance of why this matters. We increased our NIL budget. And then after we did a national tour, this is his words, after we did a national, then we started recruiting. Because if you don't recruit, if you do not get a budget and you start recruiting, you're not going to get the results you want. And now we are seeing, with two players who have now been crystal balled to Michigan for basketball, two very good players. One is very elite, likely going to start his freshman year, and Trey McKinney. that's what you got to do. And I think, we're seeing that. We're seeing the evolution in Michigan. I also think, and I will give Ward a little agreement here, where he's like, well, we were under a microscope. We didn't, we were under a microscope, so we didn't want to do anything aggressive like some of these other programs, But I mean, at the end of the day, that cost us, and that's why we're in this position.
Yeah.
So, all right, Blockheim, how about this? Let me get your thoughts this weekend for the game. Let me get your prediction. I got 2 more callers on the line. I'm going to get to them.
Okay. Man, to be honest with you, I really haven't given the game score prediction that much thought. I mean, I know what I want to say, but Illinois did look bad this past Saturday, but it's hard to say because there's a tale of two halves with Tuttle, right? He looked good, and then he looked not so good. But I think it'll be 23-20 Michigan. I think that Michigan will have a couple of good defensive stands that will ultimately be the reason they win. I think Tuttle will have a couple of good drives, and then I think Svada's been lights out, so I think he'll have probably a couple of 40, 50-yard kicks maybe, and then I think Michigan will just grind it out in the end.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I do think this will be I think you're right here. I think it is going to be a bit of a grind. I think my prediction was 24-17 on Tuesday. I'm sticking with that. Zavada's probably going to be very key here, and Bielema's coming for blood. Just know that. Like, I mean, I know everyone knows Illinois seems to have a real problem with us. Like, I don't know, they want to be Michigan State or something. I don't know. We'll teach them a lesson too. But
right.
Like between Underwood and Bielema, holy shit. But all right, Block M, appreciate you, man. I'm sure we'll keep talking, and don't be a stranger to the call-in show.
I won't, man. I'll be calling in.
All right, bud. All right, go Blue.
All right, go Blue, man.
Go Blue. All right, boys and girls, and everyone watching. We have 2 more callers on the line. We have Ramez next, and then yes, Moose, the man, the myth, the legend, B-Dub is going to be up after him. So what is up, Ramez?
Hello. I thought I'll turn the camera on this time, trying to scare you a little bit.
What's up, bud?
How you doing? Scare you with that bald head. Hey, how you doing? Another week. Everything. I've been listening to the conversation. I was just wondering, since you guys said that maybe Tuttle was his man, and you put Jordan McLeod stats up. So don't you think it's too early to kind of call it? Maybe wait and see if Tuttle shows up on Saturday, light up the field, then maybe they get a pass.
100%. I mean, and shout out to our boy Maze Madman 3M in the house. What's up, my friend? No, you are no. So I agree. No, it's Tuttle time. We need to be in observation mode. I was encouraged with Tuttle. I do not think Tuttle was the issue in the second half. I think what happened was the coaching staff did not adjust to Washington. I think Washington was the experienced staff. They made the proper adjustments. It's up to Michigan's coaching staff to make the adjustment. We saw Tuttle can drive the field. I mean, I thought his decision-making was actually excellent. I mean, that touchdown he had on the run to his right was insane. I mean, no. I'm actually optimistic about Tuttle because I'll be honest, and I don't know how long you've been watching the show, Ramez, but in the summer I was anti-Tuttle. I was like, no, we don't want this, and obviously Madman knows this. He quoted me. I said, if Jack Tuttle's our quarterback, we have a problem. Now, I'm
the one who called you out on it when during the show with Maze Man, actually.
Okay, all right, fair
good
enough.
To know that you're not holding a grudge. Good to know.
Good. I still stand by it. It kind of is a problem, but hey, maybe Jack Tuttle can make lemons out of lemonade, or make lemonade out of lemons, and no, I'm actually, I don't know. I am actually, I've had this feeling all week. I'm optimistic. I'm encouraged. Now look, are we going to win a national title? Probably not. Can we be competitive? Can we turn the trajectory of the season up? Yes. Can we potentially contend for the Big Ten? I don't think it's out of the question. We still have Oregon in front of us. We still have Ohio State.
Why you are encouraged is easy. Why are you encouraged? Is that because when we saw Orgy in, and when I called you in the past, we always seen like what Denard was saying about give him a little more, give him a little more. So we've been massaging it, trying to convince ourselves that Origi could be a better passer. So we have been trying to squeeze it and be on the optimistic side, and you're trying to push it. But this time you actually saw a real quarterback. You called him the super senior, but yeah, I mean, he could be the Joe Biden of college football. But at the end of the day, if that's his time to shine, that's his time to shine. And if that's what Campbell saw, then and that's why you're encouraged. It's encouraged because you saw a real quarterback there. That's why this is where the energy is coming from.
Yeah, and not only that, what's encouraging too is you saw the team rally around him and play better, right? So you saw players starting to step up. You saw wide receivers catching balls who were not, you know,
Existing.
making plays. So I mean, I think you have the confidence of the team, and if the players in the huddle respect the quarterback, the team will play better. Like, see, that's another thing too is like the reason the team looks bad sometimes is because the team is like, oh shit, we are not going to score. We can't afford to go down 7 or 10 points. Well, now we just saw we came back from 14. Now, I'm not saying that's a recipe for success because it's not, but at least there's hope now. I really think 3 weeks of practice, Tuttle's getting QB1 reps instead of QB2 reps, which he got his first week. You know, I think there's a real. Now we'll see. Now again, Ramez. So hopefully you'll call in the call-in show. Let's see if what we're thinking is possible becomes reality.
Yeah, and one more thing I wanted to say regarding Keegan's call of why I would not want Wink Martindale to get another season if things does not improve, is that since I called you TJ in the first call and I told you I did not grow up watching football, but I mean I've been watching it. I went to Michigan like during 06, 09, so I started like the last year of Lloyd Carr pretty much. This is when I've been following, so I've been through the stages here, so this is not the worst I've seen since I started, but watching and getting into the sport. Keegan, it's simple for me. If the players are not lined up correctly on defense pre-snap, as the Joel Klatt and the commentators and everybody in the world in watching the sport who actually played the sport too are saying they lined up wrong, if a defensive player is waving his hands to the sideline saying, I don't know what we're doing. I think I forgot who was that. They called him out like on all the shows that I think you even mentioned it, TJ. He was raising his hand. He was like, I don't know what to do. That's another thing, another sign. When we saw the defense improve after Don Brown left, as I said, I did not grow up watching the game, but what I could see that every time we play the team, when they throw the ball, there is always a defensive player up his ass. So they make him earn every single pass. Right now, I'm watching a guy catching the ball, and the nearest Michigan defender is almost like 3, 4, 5 feet away. Not feet, yards. Yeah. So that's another thing, Keegan, that I know that if that continues like that, and they say he's a big name, we can't let him go after a year, then I have to kind of check out next year because I know it's not going to improve. It's going to be another Don Brown thing where I have to wait until they realize it. So yeah, these are all the reasons that if Wing does not change, dumb down his scheme a little bit, all the players understand what they're doing, and they make him earn every single pass, keep everything ahead of him, and let him score field goals, like how we used to do it in the past 3 years, then yeah, we let him go. Isn't that just as simple as that, TJ, could be said?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think he gets the rest of this year to prove that he can adjust to the college level because right now he's not showing that. Like I don't think you do what Jim Harbaugh did with Don Brown, where you hang on to him and then you get a 2020.
But what do you mean adjust when the players are lined up incorrectly pre-snap? Is that adjustment? That's when when Joe Klatt was like saying you got 3 wideouts, like 3 by 1, so 3 on one side, 1 on the other side, and he had the guys over there, and he was like, "Oh, that's wrong." When he said it, and all the people are asking, so like when you're lined up wrong pre-snap, is that an adjustment?
Adjustment? Yeah, like a wrong adjustment. What do you mean? Is that an adjustment? I mean, that's
Is that adjustment you need to make, like in order to be lined up correctly before the snap? It's kind of like this. Like you didn't mention it, TJ. For example, like when Mason Graham had that penalty against Minnesota, and they asked him after what happened. He was like, "Oh, my hand was just up," and he answered. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it's like it is what it is. It just happened. He didn't say, "Oh, I gotta be this." This means like I don't want to say he said I don't care. No, the players are either fed up or don't really care that much anymore, which is showing you that bad things are really happening. Like his answer to the question was, well, my head was just high. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that the players don't care. But I will say, I think when you lose maybe your focus and attention to detail, and you kind of maybe go through the motions a little bit. And I don't think it's necessarily a lack of care. I think it's just like I mean, human nature. Although I guess a player like Amon-Ra St. Brown would probably say, "Well, there's no excuse for that."
Exactly.
But we're also talking about kids here in college. And again, it falls on the coaching staff. So what are the adjustments? I mean, listen, they got to put the players in be in the most optimal position. Like one of the biggest red flags that we've reported and has been confirmed by another insider, Sam Webb, they were not, when they were going through practice and players were making mistakes, they were not redoing the play and executing it until they effectively executed the play. They would just move on to the next play in the script. And you saw that on the field. Like you could see the team they did not practice well. Like they were making these errors. They were lining up wrong, or they were not setting their stances, like missing tackles, poor angles. Looked like a poorly coached team, and I do think they started to look better though against Washington a little bit, but we'll see. I mean, again, though, bye week, we're going to find out. I mean,
and I agree with Keegan, though, that if you don't like, if Michigan gets 9 wins, and if anybody, I know that everybody's like saying it on the other places, right? They're saying, oh, and Michigan is going to lose these 2 games and then be out of the playoffs, or lose at Ohio State and be out of the playoffs. If you don't think that Michigan can get in with 9 games, you have not been paying attention to what's happening outside. Like, Notre Dame right now has an in, but they're going to play USC. And of course, if you have seen USC Penn State, you know that USC can beat Notre Dame. That's not even like, that's not a myth. It's not that hard to do. And Alabama could lose 2 more games. You have seen it. It's easy. Georgia is going to lose more. Like if you saw all the what's happening out there, you know that Michigan is not done with 9 wins. Not at all.
I agree with that. Which is why I need to see how do we come out of the weekend. That's why it's so big for me. I am optimistic. Maybe I'm being too glass half full here, but I actually believe it. And if I didn't believe it, I wouldn't bring it to the table. I'm not trying to hype anything up. I think the boys we have the talent. I think the coaching staff can make the adjustments because we've seen it at times. So
it's not we win, it's how we win. How we win is more important. Like, I'm not going to be more important. I mean, more important is to win, but how to win, how we win is what we're really looking for.
Yeah, agree. I mean, hopefully the team executes really well, but I mean, listen, I'll take an ugly win anyways. But all right, Ramez, we got one more caller on the line. So how about this? Prediction this weekend. What do you think is going to happen?
I'll go with your score, 24-7. Yeah.
There we go. Well, all right, Ramez. Well, hopefully you're not a stranger and we hear from you on the call-in show, post-game.
All right. Talk to you later. See you guys. Bye.
See you, man.
Go Blue. Bye.
Ramez, friend of the program. Thank you for calling in, my friend. And then we have, of course, the best for last, the man, the myth, the NCAA dynasty legend, B-Dub, the shirtless wonder. What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
What's up, man?
I just got a few quick points. One, I have to bring everyone some sad news. There's only one. Huh?
I said, hold on. How sad is this news? Are you gonna?
Oh, it's just sad. It's just sad for people who like food.
Food?
There's only one DeBella's now in like a giant, like 50-mile radius of Metro Detroit. So it's in Ann Arbor. It's a sad day today.
No, I'm sorry for all of our foodies out there.
Yeah,
could
if
be
you
a
like
hard
a
day.
good steak sub, it's one of the best steak subs out there.
All right. Well, that could have. I was hoping it wasn't worse news, B-Dub, but we'll take it. Appreciate you bringing that news to the program.
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, literally, Boston College is storming back here doing this game. This is nuts, dude. They were down 28-0 at the half, come back and score a touchdown, get a pick, then recover a fumble. Now 21-28, and they're going to drive again.
Dude, Boston College has been a feisty ass team this year.
They are, dude. I'm impressed by Brian, man. He knows what he's doing there.
Yeah.
No, I want to pick a bone with this whole Wink Martindale thing because I picked on it last time. I'm gonna pick on it again. I don't think he's the sole problem, quite honestly. Now, in that,
I'm sorry, you don't think what?
I don't think he's the sole problem of.
No, I don't think he's the sole problem either. But all right, let me ask you this before you make your point. What
Yeah.
percentage would you put on him?
I put shit, that's a good one. I'm gonna divide it like this. I'm gonna say 35%. There you go. I'm gonna do thirds. So I'm gonna say 35. So a third's on him, a third's on Lamar, a third's on the player. Right? That's how I see it. So
well, aren't you just a nice guy? I'm putting like 65% on Wink Martindale, man. But all right, let me hear your take though. Let me hear your take. Change my mind. Sell me this pen.
So okay, first of all, I had it too. I had to. First of all, I'll tell you this. How is he supposed to do it? Like, yo, do you have something to write with or something, like, or whatever? But I know. So if I was to sell you, okay. So here's this. So now So I just want to say that point he made of they were lined up wrong. That was I believe that was no huddle. I believe. And they should have called a timeout at that point. If you see a cornerback, it was a cornerback and a linebacker to the one side of the one receiver, then you call a timeout. You don't have enough men on the other side of the field. So you call a timeout. That's a bust. That's what it is. So if people are waving their hands over there, like I don't know what to do. So to sell you on why I don't think it's solely on Wink. I understand you try to put players in a position to succeed, but at the end of the day, it is sort of a Ravens defense where they play a lot of zone. If God forbid, if they try to mix up a shift of the safeties coming over or a mix of man and zone, that would be a great day. But apparently, we're not even there. But you're trying to put people into zone coverages and maybe some man coverage, and you're calling a play. Let's just call it bear or whatever you're doing. And you're expecting, Hill or Barry to have their man or to cover their zone, and they either don't know what to do, don't know who to cover in that scheme. Now, okay, fine. I could call the most dumbest defense of all time, which is Don Brown. I just play man all day. So there is no confusion. You see that guy in front of you? That's who you got. Run with him all day long till your legs fall off. I don't give a shit. So we could play like that. We all know how that turns out when you face good athletes. So that's not always the best call. Machine. That's funny. But I put a lot of this on Lamar to implement the defense that Wink's trying to put to where the players can execute. Now, you see Hill, which I do see it now after the first 3 weeks. The last 3 weeks, he's been playing a lot more off, right? He doesn't want to get beat. And it's paid off a bit where he got a pick. He got a dope-ass pick and shit off of it and stuff, playing deep on the ball because, he didn't bite on a double move and people, he didn't want anyone getting behind him, right? But at the end of the day, the players have to execute what you coach them and the play that is called on the field. Now, if that's also on them in game, which is also part of it, at the safeties to communicate that stuff. And if not the safeties, someone on the I think that's the biggest part. There's no one on the back end confirming these calls and like calling things out. I see a little bit of communication, but I got Makari Page. To me, he needs to show me a lot because I feel like he's He's just not doing shit.
So
And Barry, I feel like, and I totally agree in all facets. Even Vance has talked about it with Webb. Like, you have to have a dude at the slot, corner. Like, you have to have a dude because there is no, you don't get a safety there. You don't get a valve. You don't get a safety valve. You have a linebacker, maybe. Oh, good luck. A linebacker's going to cover your ass. No, he's not. So it's on you. The safeties cover the corners. And for the slot receiver, you're sort of left alone. And you can see they picked on him a lot. So my my thing is, as a defensive coach scheme, okay, you can say part of it is how I'm calling the defense and the name of the calls. Hopefully that's getting to your mind fast enough so you can see what's in front of you, see where you're. I'm not even going to say that. If you call a defense, you have to know where your coverage is. You have to know who's behind you, who's got your back if something goes wrong, how we're going to play this, and communicate that with the people around you. And that's why I say it's like a third of everybody, right? I don't think it's solely on Wink. Wink can call whatever he wants, but if the players, don't know, they don't know. Like, who's that on then? That's solely on Wink. I think Wink expects Lamar to do his job.
okay, but if Wink, sorry, so to your point on the miscommunication and the lack of communication on the back end, if so, in a lot of the, not a lot, but there's been some points and some clips and some plays in the game where you will see the DBs trying to get each other's attention, they don't know. They don't know the damn play. They don't know their assignment. They look confused. There is a Twitter account out there. It's do hashtag. He does a lot of film breakdown. He's highlighted this. He shows that our DBs are not aware of what their assignment is or play, and you can see the result of the play sometimes. So to me, Bull, that's on the coaches for pushing through practice and not getting it right.
Okay, so to that, I would agree. My thing is, not all the blame has to be on Wink. I think if Wink had an adequate, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think it's all Lamar Morgan's fault. I think it's all his fault, quite honestly. Because at a certain point, I can't work hand. I can't. I believe Lamar's also doing special teams. Is that correct?
No,
I
that's
think
JB Brown. I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Lamar Morgan does.
I thought it was.
Yeah. So JB Brown is special teams quarterback, or special teams coordinator, and he also helps with safeties. But Lamar is defensive backs, all of them. But look, I'm not saying there's no blame to be had for Lamar Morgan, but listen, in my opinion, now I don't know, I'm assuming here, I think Lamar Morgan's being overruled. Lamar Morgan comes from the Jesse Minter tree. What Wink Martindale's implementing is not Jesse Minter coverages. It's not. It's Wink. It's Wink. And like when you look at Wink's track record at the Giants and the Ravens, he was let go by Harbaugh for being stubborn. He was let go by Brian Dable because Brian Dable asked him to evolve his approach and he would not.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can see his approach though sometimes to where, but see, Wink's approach, I believe statistically. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, so statistically in the NFL, coverage overrules blitzing. That's what they have said. That the statistics show that if you can cover better and have a better defensive line, okay, with just rushing 4, statistically it proves that you will usually have a better defense than if you were to blitz more adequately with more than 4 people. That just seems to be statistically, that's what that shows. That coverage outrules blitzing usually. So, in some sense, he is somewhat archaic in that sense. He sees it like it's helping his secondary because maybe they're not as good. They can't cover as long, so he blitzes to accommodate that.
Well, it can. Well, listen, you have to get pressure on the quarterback. If you let a quarterback sit there all day, it doesn't matter how good your coverage is. They're going to eat you apart. Like you cannot allow a quarterback to sit there all day. Blitzing, like for example, the Lions to NFL were, and I agree to this comment. The NFL is different than college. It's not the same, especially because NFL quarterbacks have a better processing ability. But the Lions have sometimes, now with Hutchinson injured,
Yeah.
What a shame.
R.I.P.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but yeah, that was in my mind though. But yeah, like they have to generate pressure, and they'll send a linebacker, and it makes your defense vulnerable. And listen, here's the truth though: our defensive line can get pressure. Josiah Stewart can get pressure.
Yeah.
Graham, Rayshon Benny can get pressure. Derek Moore, I'd like to see him
And
step
I
up a
think
little
that's
bit.
showing statistically this year that this is an anomaly for him, that he's not blitzing as much, I feel like. I think that
What? You?
shows somewhat. Yeah.
But the timing of his blitzes are shit.
The timing,
Dude, he's
correct,
doing it on like
is
third
bad.
and 8, man.
I'm not going to say, so
Third and
I'll be honest.
15.
I don't think it's the timing. I would probably call the same thing in Madden. But at the end of the day, I know in Madden, my players are probably going to line up right in cover. Stanley, it seems like every time he does do that,
So beat
it
up.
doesn't look good. Yes.
Are we officially creating the Wink Martindale fan club? Or is that what are you the leader of the Wink Martindale fan club? Are you and Keegan?
Bro,
Are
I'm
you and
just,
Keegan creating the Michigan chapter of the Wink Martindale fan club?
dude, I mean, I'm just saying, like,
All right. It's official. Keegan?
I'm just trying to give the guy some cover, right? Like everyone's shooting bullets
Are
at him.
you?
I'm like, yo,
Are
dude,
you
I got you,
Keegan?
Wink. You know, it's not all on you. That's all I'm trying to say. It's not all on him.
All right.
I just think it's all on Lamar. Quite honestly, a lot of it's on Lamar.
All right. It's
Like, I
official.
don't give a shit if you're from, Jesse Mentor's, tutelage. I totally understand that, but you got to like fall in line, my man. Your position players look bad out there. Bad. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? That's my biggest thing.
I find that to be Wink Martindale's problem more than Lamar. I think Wink Martindale overrules Lamar Morgan personally. Now I can't confirm it, but I just his track record. And here's the truth, right? And this falls to the head coach as well.
Yeah.
If the people below you are not doing their job, whose fault is it?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's
But
on.
I'll also give you, because the sample size is so small, we can look at it in the microcosm and not the macro. And we can, and so essentially your position is, and I guess we'll find out. You're saying it's Lamar Morgan. I'm curious
Yes.
if Keegan thinks it's more Lamar Morgan. Keegan, let us know in the comments if you also agree that Lamar Morgan's shares more blame than he's getting, at least. Maybe you're not saying he takes all the blame, but it deserves more blame than he's getting. But what we will announce today is the establishment of the Wink Martindale fan club, headed by B-Dub and Keegan. It is official.
Right.
We will watch this.
Hey, dude.
Listen, the last fan
I'll stand
club.
in the paint. That's all I'm saying. I'm willing to stand in the paint.
All right.
And get it and get dirty.
We'll get you guys t-shirts and everything. And then, but the last fan club, the Tuttle fan club, actually looks to be like the place. It actually is VIP now. There are people standing outside trying to get in.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I think I got in. I think Keith got my letter and everything, dude. I think I'm in.
Yeah.
I think I got my jacket and shit. So I think I'm good.
Fair enough.
Keith,
All right,
dude,
B-Double, how
I'm
about
loving
this?
Keith. I'm loving Keith.
Oh yeah, dude, Keith is a treasure, man. Keith is
He is. I love
Keith.
Keith.
He's a little he's definitely a treasure of the Michigan fandom. But all right, B-Dub. So tell me, what do you got this weekend? What is your score prediction?
I would say, I mean, that did sound good, honestly. 24-17. I don't know. Like, it is a weird microcosm that's happening in Illinois. Like, it's Brett Bielema. This guy just is mid. He's always been mid. Right? Try to chase the money. Didn't work out. Then he comes back to the Big Ten, right? Like, I don't understand his trajectory. Obviously, he wanted to get. I don't understand. You had a great thing in Wisconsin. It was going well, and then he goes for money to Arkansas, and then that blows up in his face. So, I didn't understand that.
Honestly, though, in reality, when he went to Arkansas, it was kind of a step up than Wisconsin. I mean, at the time, the SEC is just, like, to be honest, like SEC, especially in that time, early 2010s, was just the better conference. And they also obviously were paying more, but like if you could build art, and here's another thing too, though. Brian Kelly, there's a reason why they go down south, man.
I get it, but like Wisconsin,
but like
for him and what he built in Wisconsin, he built that program. I would say You know,
No, he didn't build it. It was
no, he didn't build it, but he
he carried it. He carried the torch.
continued the tradition, right? He continued the torch from Barry Alvarez, right?
Yeah, Alvarez.
So yeah, and that's great, and I think he was doing so great. But I get what you're saying. The money, the possible better athletes, just everything's a little bit different down there, right? But to be honest with you, same thing with Big Ten football, SEC football. I would say is obviously a little bit harder. You got to really be on all facets, P's and
Of course.
Q's. You got to be a recruiter. You got to be a coach. Like you got to know what you're doing because you'll fizzle out. Because I don't think the what's his name down there now in Arkansas. I don't think he can get it done there. He may be a great coach, but I don't think he's a great recruiter. And then you got to have a little bit of both down there. A lot of coaches have failed in the SEC. And you just got to have the right combo down there.
I agree,
But
you got to understand the appeal. The appeal is you could build an SEC power. Like, I mean, I know it's Arkansas and it's not like you're iconic, but like, look, you have the recruiting resources. You're in the recruiting territory. You're right by Texas. The school plays the school. You can go to school to play ball and not school. Like that's the appeal of a lot of SEC. That's why Brian Kelly left Notre Dame because you can't do what you do at LSU at Notre Dame. Like there's a reason.
That's different, though. That's different because Notre Dame is extremely, extremely strict about all their shit, right? They're like Michigan. I mean, they're practically Michigan, honestly, at that point. So,
bro, all right, B-Dub. Wisconsin. Where's your recruiting territory? Not West. I mean, what? Wisconsin and the Dakotas, Montana.
So that's my only thing. That would be the only reason he would go down there. Because I think money. I think they probably. I know I said money, but I think honestly it was the players. I think he was getting sick and tired of playing second fiddle to either Michigan, Ohio State, and he just was tired of it. And he was like, "Yo, I can't. Like, what am I going to do in this league that I haven't already done? Like, I don't see myself getting any better." And that's true. That's true. Look at PJ Fleck, right? He's a bum. But that guy, I can't stand that guy. Rowe. But no, I think it's definitely the recruiting, right? You go down there, you have unlimited, you have all these dumb athletes that all they want to do is play football, and they're great athletes, right? So, and I get that, and I could see him. That's why he went down there. Sadly, didn't work out. Just how I saw it, I was like, you just left a good thing. But again, if you want to challenge yourself as a coach, I guess I can't blame you, right? You tried, you failed. But I just don't feel like, because even now, I think even the fans, even though they tried to, they talked about on the roundtable, right, about them wanting to get this game for like 3 to 4 years on the dot because of Red Grange and 100-year anniversary, whatever, of that game and everything like that, and they really wanted Michigan on this date and stuff, and they got them. But I think even the fans, have said that. I don't think we can do this, and I don't see it. But they got a quarterback, and we sure as maybe I was gonna say we sure as fuck don't. It's not true. We have AARP Tuttle out there, so
yeah, the savior.
Let's see what he does.
Keith.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll see. But all right, give me your prediction. All right, so you're going 24-17 for the game. We'll see.
I think it looks pretty good.
Boys can do it. Thank you for calling in, B-Dub. Appreciate it. It's almost a tradition now to have you calling in and doing your thing, even though Borge may not like it. And also,
I know we're such a hater, bro.
Burks needs to be Burks. Be nice. But I got to talk to Burks. I got to talk to my dog when the mailman comes. Be nice, But all right, my man. All right, well, so I'll get you out of here. Appreciate it. Thanks for calling in. Go Blue, my friend.
Go Blue, smash. Let's go.
Hey, actually, stay on here because you're a member. You're a member. So I want to give an announcement because I see John has been posting this. So John did a members only hangout last September. So this October we have another hangout coming. There is for all of our members who are leaders, or I'm sorry, those who stay. Wait, is it? Yeah, it's those who stay.
and
Yep.
above. Yep.
Beat Up knows better than I do. Those who stay and above, we do a VIP hangout every week or every month. And we have just put a poll out in the community post. Go vote when you guys can make it, best time. And then the other thing we want to know from our members is, do you prefer the meeting space where we're all in the same chat room, or did you guys like what John did, where we kind of pull you guys up one by one, we chat and just talk out, kind of like how this call-in is a little bit. Let us know your opinion. Were you
Oh shit! I voted the wrong thing, man. Yeah, you got a point there. It depends, though. I'm gonna be honest. Nick on here, bro. Nick likes to talk, bro. He likes to talk a
Oh,
lot, and I don't mind Nick. Nick. You know, he knows
Nick
ball and shit, but
Nick's
he
a
can
ball man.
talk, man. So in that one meeting, bro, when everyone was in it, man, he was like he wanted to talk, and that was all good. But I was like, should probably like go around. We have like 10 other people in here, you
That's
know.
why our meeting we did with the Windows meeting, it has the raise hand function. We thought so. We're trying to figure out the best approach. Let us know. Did you? All
Yeah,
right, were you there for John's hangout last month?
yeah.
Do you like that better?
I actually didn't mind it. Yeah, I didn't mind like sort of going one at a time, sort of talking about what what you want to talk about and like that. I thought it was a nice change of pace because yeah, the other one was a little bit crazy. I think because it was like yeah, it was two open ones and then we just did the single one, just that last one, and so that was nice. But um, I'm
All right, well, pick and choose. What do
yeah,
you
I
prefer?
like that. Something where like you can either raise a hand to talk,
That's what I
so
think.
not someone because what can happen is someone may just want to talk a lot, and I'm all
Yeah,
for it.
like
But other
like
people
Nick
want to
said, you want to call
huh?
him out, like Nick? Like you just want to call him out, just like Nick? Like Nick
Yeah,
like talk to
fuck it. I'm already here. I already went all the way. Fuck it. Yeah, I was calling out Nick. It is what it is. But
we
I
love
can't blame
we
him
love
because
Nick.
he's passionate, right? He's good. I no, I
He knows
respect
ball.
everybody.
He's good.
But I
Yeah,
just saw some other people that were in the group that sort of like either didn't want to like didn't talk maybe at all or just were there to chill. And I was like, you know what? It would be nice to hear from some of the people that we don't see faces to sometimes, right? So it'd be
yeah.
nice just to go around the whole thing.
Yeah, so I don't know. Let us know your feedback, guys. Do you guys want us to do Microsoft Teams or YouTube? Let us know. You can let us know in the community post. Put your comment
Yeah,
there. Your what you guys prefer. I think we're leaning Teams right now. We'll see. But again,
yeah.
so thanks, Beat Up, for being a part of this and being a member of the channel. We greatly appreciate it. And as you know, my friend, it's always go
Oh,
blue, man.
yeah,
Oh,
go blue. Oh no, real quick, I just want to say you guys are doing great on the whole recruiting aspect. It is good to hear. So let's just say for Michigan fans that see like, what's it, Seth or whatever, or I think it's Brian who's on, who's in the dumps right now, who thinks he's on the round table, who thinks that this game is this whole season is a wash. We got to go hit the portal. You got to, hey, Corn and TJ, dude, we're kicking into high gear on the recruiting phase, right, and the money phase.
no
So
question.
Michigan ain't going down at all lightly. We're gonna fight. We're gonna get this money. We're gonna get these players. We're gonna shoot our best shot. And even though it may take some time to get this recruiting classes together, I I'm hoping the coaching gets better. Right, either Sharon makes better coaching decisions going forward. Right, if things don't pan out, Lamar Morgan. But um, but I'm just saying, It seems like he is a the offensive line has to get better. Okay, I see that from him as a coach, as a position coach, that has to get better. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. That's your baby. You got to do a better job at it. And if you can do a better job, then I trust you more. And then I know going forward, if you're going to be a great recruiter and coach great offensive line, then you're our guy, right? That's all. I think that's all we really want to see and care about at this point, you know. And so I think Kirk Campbell, maybe give him another year because he is a great recruiter and he does an okay job, but
He's great.
it's so it's a tough one. I understand that you got to pick or choose sometimes. Oh, you're a great recruiter, but your guys are sort of sucking. So like, where are we at right now? So I can see Sharon Moore's plan going forward. It looks great, especially from a financial aspect of the getting funding. and I'm definitely going to be excited. I mean, if it doesn't pan out this season, I mean, I see a fucking freight train going into off season, dude. I see all full steam ahead, man. I hope we destroy it come January, technically, right? Is that, that's because I think portal opens up mid-December, right? Right at the end of the
Yeah.
season. So
Or December.
we'll
Let's say
see.
April, December.
It's mid-December, right? Something like that. I forget when the last game is.
Yeah,
But
it's like the second week of the college football playoffs, which is crazy.
yeah. So which sucks if we're in the playoffs, which I hope we are.
What a
But
good
if we're not,
it's a good problem.
right,
But
exactly.
yeah, man, no, things look pretty optimistic there. We'll see though. Results are what matter, not words. We heard some words, we'll see. Hopefully things transpire how things are trending right now. But all right,
Yeah.
B-Dub, appreciate you, man. I'm sure I'll hear from you Saturday.
Oh yeah, we'll do.
Go Blue, my friend. All right, B-Dub, our good friend and loyal member to the Michigan at the Voice of College Football channel. Another loyal, well, I don't, hey, man's best friend in the picture. My mom would love your dog, New Life. Former Navy intel. I couldn't resist the Stallions espionage level. You guys are great on top of it. Go Blue, New Life. Thank you for becoming a member. We appreciate it. Honestly. So thank you for joining the community and being part of it. We do our monthly hangouts, so be on the lookout for that. And thank you everybody who was a part of this call-in show tonight. We greatly appreciate that as well. You guys are awesome. Burks is a Packer fan, so he's not as awesome as everybody else, but we still like him because he bleeds blue. So shout out to Burks, although he's a Packers fan. So FTP the Pack. And then to everyone else watching, greatly appreciate all of you guys. Stay tuned to what we have coming up this week. Saturday, we have the postgame show with John. We will be following up the Illinois game with hopefully a victory for the boys. And then Tuesday, we have the 8 p.m. call-in show. And then obviously next Thursday, 8 p.m., we have the call-in show. If you are a member to the Michigan channel of the second tier or higher, look out for the community post, give a vote. Let us know when you guys want to do the members VIP hangout. We'll definitely do that. And if you guys are on the go or busy or traveling or working, we have audio. So if you guys want to find us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Audible, all your favorite podcast players, please do that. And if you guys could please rate and leave a review, especially if it's Apple, 5-star, help us out. We greatly appreciate it. It would mean a lot to us. We're definitely trying to build our audio platforms that mean a lot to us. And again, thank you everyone who contributed making the second hour happen. We went over. We're in hour 3 right now, but honestly, you guys deserve it because it's just a great community, and Michigan football is life for the most part. But all right, guys, appreciate everybody again for joining me. As you guys know, it is always go blue.